The following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Dallas set 4 players inside the 6-yard box. RSL keys the runs from around the penalty spot. They run towards the near post. Luna whips it in, headed away by Ibiaga. That's what he's in there to do. And now Sarver going the other way. Sarver splits 3 defenders. He's all alone into the RSL half. Here's Sam Sarver at full stretch. Sarver to seal it!
After a scoreless draw out on the West Coast against LA Galaxy on Saturday, FC Dallas has their MLS play paused once again as they begin play in the 2026 Leagues Cup. This year's tournament will see Dallas face off against 3 teams from Mexico's Liga MX in group play. Up first for Dallas is Liga MX middle-class club Querétaro. Los Gallos Blancos come into Mansfield for a first-time ever matchup between these 2 squads. It's the Toros versus the Roosters as Leagues Cup 2026 begins tonight at Mansfield Stadium. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. On tonight's presentation, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. Your broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me to break down the important tactics and storylines for tonight's Leagues Cup matchup. But for what feels like the first time in forever for a home match, we welcome in the FC Dallas Insider. You can find his fine work on FCDallas.com. Of course, a member of the FC Dallas agenda and the build-up, it is the great Garrett Melser. Garrett, this is a kind of feels like a meteor, a shooting star. We haven't had what's called a home match in forever, and it'll be a little bit longer before we have another one. So it's good to see you on familiar soil.
Yeah, it's good to be back and exciting with the new digs here in Mansfield. It's a fun little stadium. I'm excited to see Dallas play a competitive match here.
It is very cool. I'm excited to see the full-on environment tonight. Well, Dallas is still on a bit of a World Cup odyssey. They don't have a win. They do have a couple draws and a loss, but no 3 points just yet. Despite this not being an MLS game, and obviously it's a tournament, we can talk about that as we go, this still feels like it's a very important moment for a team that hasn't won since May to grab a win here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. There's no secret that Dallas hasn't come out of the World Cup break in the form that they wanted to. Obviously, no wins isn't great, but performance is probably not matching up to where they were heading into the World Cup, where they won 4 out of 5 and were really surging in a lot of ways, and things looked very cohesive. A little bit of a slump coming out, but this is a good opportunity to try to break that. And let's not forget, you've got to be very good during this Leagues Cup group stage to advance out of the group of 18. You got to be in the top 4. So you essentially need to get at least 2 wins and a draw most likely to go through. And even that might not be enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, because as you detailed in the agenda a couple weeks ago, teams on 7 points did not make it through to the final 8 last time around. So a cutthroat tournament that will test Dallas, to say the least. Well, the first 11 for Eric Quill and FC Dallas here in Leagues Cup tonight. It's Jonathan Serwa in net, Osaze Urguide, Nolan Norris, Sebastian Ibiaga, Herman Johansson, Christian Kappas, Clay Holstead, Bernard Kamungo, along with Santi Moreno, Anderson Julio, and Joaquin Valiente up top. And a little bit of rotation here for Eric Quill. Mainly up top is the big news there, as you got no Musa, no Farrington. Both are available tonight off the bench, but instead it's Anderson Julio getting the start alongside Santi Moreno and Joaquin Valiente. A trio that we have yet to see, I can't recall it all together, but they've obviously played individually. I'm going to have to ask you to pull on a little bit of knowledge together. What should we expect from this group that hasn't played together much?
I'm very curious to see how it goes, because if memory serves, the last time Dallas started a game without a traditional number 9 in the form of Logan Farrington or Petter Musa or both was Decision Day last year up in Vancouver,
yes,
when they started with kind of a similar one with basically 3 wingers playing in the front positions. They did get a 2-1 win in that game, but it was very smash and grabby and benefited from an early red card on Vancouver's side. So I'm curious to see how these 3 wingers play together. Teams can suffer when they don't have a player who's able to hold the ball up and get numbers around him. So all these guys are going to want balls played ahead of them, less, back to goal kind of play. But they can all beat men, and they're all pretty quick. So I want to see a lot of interplay between them and probably playing on the fast break fairly often.
Well, the people charged with getting them the ball tonight is going to be in part the midfield, and we're seeing a first start with FC Dallas for Clay Holstead. He came over from Rhode Island on loan. He made his MLS debut in the draw against the Galaxy. He starts tonight alongside fellow Eric Quill guy Christian Kappas. And it's kind of an interesting profile because he's a little bit more of a 6, so is Kappas, but they're both big, kind of burly midfield types. It's a little bit of a difference from Kaik, who he's replacing, who's more of that endless engine guy that runs all up down the field.
Well, I do think Clay Holstead, has a bit of that endless engine about him as well. Like, I think he's going to do a lot of running. In our interview he did on the FC Dallas Agenda, he mentioned I can run for days. So he should fill that role very nicely. But I think it's a cool moment for Eric Quill because his midfield of Kappas and Holstead, he coached both of them at different times, but for Texans SC down in Houston in their youth careers. And so now to have them both starting at the professional level at the Leagues Cup for the head coach that brought them through the youth ranks, I think it's a really cool story. And I'm curious to see how Holstead ingratiates with the team. He really only has a few training stints with this group under his belt, just the one appearance off the bench last game. Very curious to see how much familiarity he has with this group. It might take him a few minutes to get up to speed with them.
And meanwhile, it's worth noting on the bench tonight, Ron Benjamin, Ramiro, Caleb Swan, and Kaik all available to Eric Quill in case things get a little testy out there in the midfield. Road rotation that did not occur. Bernard Kamungo back at left wing back, Herman Johansson back at right wing back. Both had really good games against LA in general, even though the result wasn't what you wanted. Which one of these guys do you think it's more important for to build on the consistency, Herman or Bernie?
That's a good question because, like you said, I think they both had some of their strongest performances of the season last game in LA. I guess I'll lean towards Bernard Kamungo just because last game was his first start after a very, very long injury layoff, and I was really impressed by his overall performance. For the most part, he was the confident version of Bernard Kamungo, and I think that's always the best version. When he plays within himself and is afraid to take on players, you lose a lot of his upside. But when he wants to go at players, attack them, and get into the attacking third, that's where you get the benefits of what he does best. So I think this is a huge opportunity for him to maintain his level that he had against the Galaxy and take the next step and be just a little bit cleaner in the final third.
Meanwhile, a couple things on defense worth noting. Shaq Moore comes out, is available tonight in relief, but Sebastian Biaga comes in the place that he occupied in that we presume to be left center back role in the back three. Do you think this is more about Shaq, who's been an Ironman since he got to Dallas, taking some time off, or getting Ibiaga, who's had a good season, into the rotation tonight?
Probably a bit of both, but I think it has to do more with giving a little bit of rest to Shaq Moore. I think he's played something like 95% of FC Dallas's minutes this year, and that's a lot. And he's also played in a lot of different positions. He's played in the center back role where maybe not quite as much as running as the wide areas have, but he's also played in the wide areas for Dallas too. So he just got a lot of minutes under his belt over the first half of this season. And on the other side, bringing in Sebastian Ibiaga, when Ramiro, Capitao, hasn't been in this team, we've noticed that the defense in the midfield, it's not quite as cohesive because he's so important to that communication aspect. Sebastian Ibiaga also has that in his game. I think he can be a really important figure in terms of just organizing that back line and getting everybody on the same page without Ramiro in there. Speaking
of communication, we saw Nolan Norris against LA take the center back role there, and we saw him being very gesticulating with his motions, yelling, communicating. We presume he'll be in that role again tonight. We won't know until they roll the ball out, but it's a safe presumption. And he rewarded that faith with a huge game against LA, had some really nice passes. This feels like we're kind of seeing yet another level of ascension for Nolan. And if he can do it tonight against a quality Liga MX team like Querétaro, that's a pretty big endorsement for Eric Quill if he goes 2 for 2.
It would be for sure. And it's interesting because he was moved in that center position to kind of protect him against the really pacey wingers, especially Joseph Paintsel that the LA Galaxy has. So that was a new spot for him. And I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself for not thinking that he would excel in that spot. Just if you look at his profile, where he's a really good passer, a good communicator, and he defends by thinking very quickly. That's kind of a lot of the traits that you want in the center back of the back three. And he really rose to the occasion in that Galaxy game. I thought he was my man of the match, and it's one of his best performances at the MLS level for sure. If he can follow it up with a similar type performance, I mean, that could be a long-term position for him for sure.
I think so too, and doubting Nolan Norris has never gone well for any of us, so it's really exciting to see him put in these performances. Well, on the other side tonight, it's Querétaro. They're a mid-table Liga MX team. They've been so pretty much since 2019. Even so, they've had a good start in the Apertura. They beat Tigres in their last game before their season paused. Now they're only like 2 or 3 games in, so they're more fresh. But this Dallas team is a little bit more seasoned. With Chivas on Saturday, and then you've got Toluca at Toluca a week from tonight. This definitely feels like the most winnable game of your 3.
Most likely. It also helps that you're at home or quasi at home.
Close enough.
Yeah, very much less travel than they'll have for the second 2 games. When you just look at the quality in the squads, Chivas and Toluca, those are going to be really tough tests for Dallas, just based on purely the talent within their teams. And like we talked about at the very start, if Dallas doesn't win this opening game, it's such an uphill battle to qualify for the next round. So Dallas it's basically 3 points or bust.
And a reminder, top 4 from each side go forward. There's a Liga MX table. There's an MLS table. And last year, 9-8-7-7 was the go-through for MLS. So Dallas wants to do this. They're pretty much going to need to, at minimum, start with a win or the very odd 2-point draw where they draw and win in penalties. But someone who always gets 3 points is Garrett Meltzer. You can find his work on fcdallas.com. Find him on all the socials at Garrett Meltzer. And you'll hear him alongside Steve Davis on our halftime coverage tonight. Garrett, thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you in a little while.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Want to hear something incredible?
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long, when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame shows. We're getting you ready for FC Dallas versus Querétaro here tonight, presented by Toyota. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down tonight's starting lineup, tactics, and all the important storylines for tonight's Leagues Cup matchup. First, I want to tell you about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, available everywhere you get great free podcasts. Of course, it's anchored by the postgame show, highlight stats analysis of the game that was in 30 minutes or less. It goes live shortly after the game's final whistle and is uploaded shortly after, so it's ready for you whenever you so desire to hear it. Meanwhile, the FC Dallas Agenda, the official podcast of FC Dallas, is in its second season. Extended analysis, good interviews, news breakdowns, big thoughts, everything you need about your favorite MLS club. Just recently, we talked about the Benji Flowers contract, making him the latest FC Dallas homegrown, and had an interview with new Dallas midfielder Clay Holstad in his first appearance since joining Dallas on loan from Rhode Island FC. Those episodes normally drop on Wednesdays, but we do shift them around from time to time, depending on big breaking news, or like we have now, a lot of busy game weeks. Also this year, we've started with the build-up. It's our FC Dallas game preview show. It's a nice little 20-minute or so time capsule about the game upcoming, injury reports, lineup analysis, opposing players to know, keys to the match, everything you need, a nice little 20-minute or so package that goes live just over 24 hours before kickoff of the next game. Now, how do you access all that? All you have to do is go to your podcast provider of choice, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get great free podcast content. Type in FC Dallas Radio Network and then hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great free content. Now it's time for the sounds of tonight's match, which this evening are from Dallas manager Garrett Quill.
Yeah, it's exciting for our group to get this opportunity to play three sides in Mexico that are outstanding sides. Querétaro's started out in the league very well. They're very direct and they have a dangerous front two tandem, especially a great number 9 that is very busy between lines and behind lines. So we have to be very aware of the counter with these guys. They work extremely hard together. They look like a unified group. They transition with honesty. every team I've always, as a player, experienced in Mexico and watching over the years as a coach, is the mentality of Mexican sides are top. So we have to be able to compete for 95 plus minutes from a mentality standpoint and surpass it, which is not an easy task. But our guys are aware. We've shown them everything there is to show to prepare them. And now it's time, when the lights are on and the fans are in the stands, to produce and execute. But it's a great side that deserves where they are in the standings right now, and they're going to present some problems to us. But we hope to do the same to them. And we're going to be front-footed and aggressive and take the game to them and make sure the rhythm and the style of play benefits us. Yeah, I mean, I at the end of the day, I want us to look back on, and again, it's tournament format. So, can we advance out of the group stage? And that's the ultimate test. Is, over the course of 3 games, can we? And we're going to need to use our depth in order to be successful. So, can all of our guys be ready and engaged for 95 plus minutes each game and be front-footed? I think if you get back-footed against Mexican sides, I think it makes for a long night, and you don't want to give life to them. You want to make sure that you're dictating the tempo and the mentality of the match. There will be ebbs and flows like there is in every game, but they're mental monsters, and so are we. So it's going to be. I love the test we're going to be under, but I really love my group, and from that aspect, I think mentality is one of our biggest attributes. So I expect us to be competing hard every game, and I want people to feel like they're proud of our team at the end of this, and feel like we put ourselves on the stage with others, and we came out on top. We're trying to win the thing. We're not just existing in this tournament. We're trying to be front-footed and result oriented. So that's what I want to see from my group, and I want to look back on each game saying we went for it and we didn't hold anything back. But these sides, the Mexican sides, are top. I mean, again, they're 3 games into their season, but they have such quality. They're technical. They've got, again, they're honest in every position. They fight every minute of the game. They hustle for everything. Those little hustle plays matter. And with these Mexican sides, you can see they don't give up on plays. They're when it's time to tackle, they're not going in with toenails. They're going in full force, looking to leave something on you. That's part of their mentality. That's what they want to get inside your head a bit. And we've got to be able to take those and give them back and make sure that we're staying emotionally sound in the games, because that's an area where it can get away from you, is if you allow emotion to take over your soccer brain and take you out of what we're supposed to be there for in our rhythm. So that's a challenge that lie ahead. I mean, my expectations is to win the tournament. And have a team that believes that, plays like that, and when we walk away from each game feeling like we left nothing out there. And some guys have played in this tournament, so experience matters, and we'll rely on those guys. But we have a different group than years past. I believe we have a really deep roster that bodes well for us in a tournament format, because we can rotate and we don't miss a beat. And that's what I love about my group, is I think our depth is going to be something hard for teams to deal with, especially late in second halves.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to break down tonight's match. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions,
General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota. We've got about 20 minutes until kickoff here from Mansfield Stadium, so let's go ahead and bring you tonight's starting lineups. And this evening, those are brought to you by Advocare. We'll start first with the visiting Querétaro and first-year manager and former Chilean national team member Esteban Gonzalez. It's Guillermo Allison in net tonight for the Gallos Blancos. Byron Duarte, Diego Reyes, Lucas Abacia, and Daniel Parra across the back line tonight for Querétaro. You've got Carlo Garcia and Santiago Omenchenko in the midfield here for the 4-2-3-1. Enzo Jimenez, Mono Martinez, and Paulo Victor flank Ali Avila, their top scorer from last season, with 11 goals coming into this one tonight for Querétaro. Now let's go ahead and get you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and second-year manager Eric Quill.
Jonathan Sirois, goalkeeper, Montreal, Canada.
Osaze Origide, centre-back, Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Nolan Norris, midfielder, Fort Worth, Texas.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center-back, Duke University.
Herman Johansson, wing-back, Sweden.
Christian Kappes, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Clay Holstead, center midfield, USA.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Joaquín Valiente, mediocampista, Uruguay.
Anderson Julio, soy delantero y soy de Quito, Ecuador.
Santiago Moreno, mediocampista, Colombia.
And the subs tonight for Dallas are going to be Lalas Abubakar, Ron Benjamin, Patrickson Delgado, Petter Musa, Ramiro Benetti, Shaq Moore, Logan Farrington, Caleb Swan, Sam Sarver, Michael Colodi, and Kaik. And now let's bring in the voices of tonight's contest. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis, and Ryan, Dallas, as we noted in our first segment with Garrett, winless since the World Cup break with a couple draws and a loss mixed in. And even though this is Leagues Cup, it's not MLS, it doesn't feel like Dallas can really afford to stay winless much longer.
No, this one is a must-win in multiple different ways, right? In the way this competition is set up, every point is absolutely vital. You can't afford to take a game off. You can't afford a loss. A regulation loss in any of your three games essentially puts you out mathematically, at least based on what we've seen in this format before, of making it into that final knockout round. So you need to win to advance in this competition, but you need to win for the vibes as well. You need to get the feel-good factor back after some hard-fought performances on the road, and we know they're on this long road stretch, but those haven't come with 3 points attached, and there's a chance here in Mansfield tonight to get in the win column and get the vibes back going into Chivas at the weekend.
Meanwhile, Steven, that tonight it is Jonathan Sirois coming off a 9-save performance against the Galaxy. And, we talked about this a little bit on the build-up and even on the agenda. And once we saw the lineup and we expected there was going to be Sirois, are you a little surprised with the Cup game and what feels like a little bit of an open competition that Michael Colodi isn't getting a look tonight?
Yeah, you know what, Sam? I am just a little bit. Michael Colodi wasn't doing badly this year when they brought in Daniel, so I was a little bit surprised that maybe he wasn't going to get the Cup run, which we know a lot of coaches do. On the other hand, Eric Quill has shown that he's a coach that wants to stick with the hot hand, whether that's a scorer or somebody playing well in the midfield, or in this case a goalkeeper. Sirois did have a good game the other night in L.A. You mentioned it, the 9 saves, and handled a couple other situations late that stood him in pretty good stead there. So I guess I am a little bit surprised, but not shocked.
I would say the only thing there is that Eric Quill has shown more propensity to change his goalkeeper week to week than a manager usually does. I think he's happy to ride the hot hand, whether it's a cup game or a league game, and I think that means there's an opportunity for Colodi to get into the team at any point if Sirois drops his level, not just because it's a change in competition.
Yeah. I would say so myself, and I think that's a pretty accurate read on the situation. Looking at what's going to be in front of Sirois tonight, one change in the back line. Sebastian Ibiaga comes in. Shaq Moore goes to the bench. He is available tonight in case Dallas does need him. But, Ryan, this feels like it does a couple things and does them really well. One, Shaq Moore gets a well-deserved rest because he was the Iron Man last year for Dallas, and he was well on his way to doing it again this year. 2, with Ramiro available tonight but not starting and presumably not getting a lot of run, Dallas needs some communication up through that center. And while we saw Nolan Norris do a good job of it on Saturday, having another guy who's experienced and good at it in Ibiaga is a positive for a night like tonight.
For sure. I think he's been consistent, whether he's been a starter, which he has been 12 times so far this season, or whether he's come off the bench, which he's done 6 times so far this season. I think he's got the experience to do both. Even before he came to Dallas, he was sort of that last guy in the rotation at LAFC, and he was coming off the bench in some games, starting some games. And that can be tough for some players, especially center backs, where it's a position you're expected to start and go 90 minutes, and you're rarely subbed off or you're rarely subbed on. So for him to show the ability to start, come off the bench, whatever the team needs, he's such an important part of this back line, and his communication is a huge part of that as well. And
speaking of that back line, Steve, Nolan Norris kind of had himself yet another breakout game when he took the center of that 3-man back line and really excelled even in the draw. And it just kind of feels like we've been doing – this has been one of these season storylines. Nolan Norris gets tasked to do something a little bit different, a little bit harder, and yet he rises to the challenge, and this feels like the next stage in that development, doesn't it?
You know what I love about this, Sam, is the trust that Eric Quill is showing in him to put him in that spot. If you're playing back there in the middle, every position is important. But that spot in the middle, I think it's even more important. Playing in the middle of a 3 back there, you've got to make decisions. You've got to communicate. You've got to be connected with your goalkeeper behind you. You got to know what's going on around you 360. And I love that he's trusted him, because I felt like there was a time for a while when we were asking, why doesn't Eric Quill trust Nolan Norris a little bit more? Why don't we see him in the lineup a little bit? And maybe that was because they were still figuring out, we're not that far removed from when is he a central midfielder? Well, maybe. Is he a left back? Maybe. Is he a left center back? So whatever. So I think now he's really coming into his own. It's heartening to see him perform well. It's also heartening to see Eric Quill trust him at that spot.
Development isn't linear is a very key factor when it comes to this, and I think we're seeing that with Nolan.
Also good to see the FC Dallas Academy stepping up a little bit more, because that story was such a big story for so many years in Major League Soccer, and then I felt like it just drifted a little bit. And now I feel like, we're seeing a little bit more of that academy rise.
Yeah, and there's just not much academy representation on this first team right now, which is, good in some ways, bad in other, but that's a discussion for another day. As we look up to the field, we see Clay Holstad, Ryan, getting his first start. He gave us about 10 to 15 minutes against the Galaxy near the very end, but that was more all hands at the pump to keep LA Galaxy from getting all 3 points on Saturday. He gets his first start tonight. He'll be alongside fellow Quill guy Christian Kappas. And it kind of feels like, in a certain way, maybe Eric Quill just went to the cloning machine and got himself a slightly different looking version of Christian Kappas out there.
Yeah, I think their qualities are actually very different. But we haven't seen a ton of Clay Holstad, so I don't want to make too many sweeping judgments. But if anything, I think Clay is a lot more similar to Kayik in terms of his industry, his running. He does have a good shot from distance. He showed that in his time with Rhode Island. He's developed all the way through the American soccer pipeline from college, 5 years at Kentucky, to USL, and now when I was speaking with Eric Quill before the game, he said, I've kept an eye on him for a couple of seasons now with Rhode Island, and I think he's been one of, if not the best midfielder in USL Championship over that time, and the stars sort of aligned with Ramiro going down for him to make that call to one of the, as you mentioned, one of the guys that he brought up to becoming a professional soccer player. It's a full circle moment, but it's also an opportunity. This midfield has been sort of chopping and changing, particularly without Ramiro in there consistently with his injury. He could take a starting spot by both hands tonight with a good performance.
I'm really interested to see a little bit more of him tonight. Like you said, that cameo the other night was a little different. I want to see where is his mentality in terms of protecting the back line, because I do think without Ramiro in there, this team does miss that a little bit. Every successful team that I watch has one guy who dedicates himself to saying, I'm staying connected to the back line. This is my area. I'm making it uncomfortable for people to operate in here. It just has that defensive mindset in there. I'm gonna defend this area, and then I'm gonna connect the first pass out, and that's my job. Whereas I think Kappas, Kaike, they're definitely more 8 mentality where they'll come back and do the defensive work, dutifully, but that's not their first thought. Their first thought is box to box, get into the attack, get back and help support the defense. I want to see a true defensive midfielder. I don't know if he is one, but if they give him that task, well, can he perform that role?
Interesting matchup, when you look at the Querétaro 11 tonight as well, because the attacking midfielder, 16-year-old Mono Martinez. This is, one of the next big prospects coming through in Mexico, and he's getting his first start tonight. So, when you look at that, you've got plenty more experience than the guy opposite you. Obviously, there's a lot of talent with Mono Martinez and a lot of excitement around him, but can you, put in a hard tackle early on, make life uncomfortable, make sure he doesn't want to come and play in those areas in front of the back line?
If I can just give Mr. Martinez a piece of advice, if you see number 3 in Dallas, go the opposite direction.
The other way.
I don't think it's going to end well for you. Well, the big change tonight is Anderson Julio, Santi Moreno, and Joaquin Valiente up top. All 3 getting a start tonight, and as far as I could tell, together for the first time for FC Dallas. And Ryan, obviously we'd all feel better if we had, Pedro Musa or Logan Farrington and maybe even someone like Sam Sarver out there. But Eric Quill has been known to kind of play mad scientist a couple times, and I just wonder what does success look like for that trio.
When I look at it, obviously you're playing without a hold-up traditional number 9, but I don't hate the profiles being paired together because you look at Santi Moreno and Valiente. These are your most creative attacking players and certainly most adventurous passers on the ball. And you've got a runner in behind with Anderson Julio. So I think there can be some chemistry, some cohesion there. The question is, can they hold the ball up in transitional moments, or is it going to be, a high-risk, high-reward ball over the top, it turns over, and then Dallas ends up with 35% possession and doing a lot of defending because there's no one to hold the ball up. That's sort of the downside, but we've seen, elite teams around the world go without a traditional number 9 at times. PSG have done it for back-to-back Champions League runs where they've sort of had these interchangeable winger, forward types all across the front line, and I think, there's a chance that this if they show that type of chemistry tonight, it could be an interesting watch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we know Dallas doesn't like to have a lot of possession. But if Querétaro ends up dropping deep, they're a team that doesn't like possession either. So if they end up dropping deep, I don't know how these 3 guys are going to operate against a low block. Somebody has to stay in there and sort of occupy those center backs. And I really have no idea what it would look like if Querétaro drops into a low block. So I guess we'll find out in a few minutes.
Somebody has to have the ball. That is just a rule of soccer in general.
One other shout, maybe Eric Quill sensing a little bit of something in the air with the Julio family. Anderson's brother, Johan Julio, scored the winner last night in Vancouver against the Whitecaps for Atlante. Just point that out.
Look, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing an MLS manager or a soccer manager in general has ever done to justify a start. But let's get to tonight's keys to the match. Those are presented by Toyota. And for those, we go back to Steve Davis.
Well, thank you, Sam. I think number 1 is defending set pieces. I don't look for Querétaro to commit a lot of numbers into the attack and the run of play, but I do expect them to be sort of set piece dependent. So FC Dallas has to be tight and right defending the free kicks and corner kicks. Number 2 is we heard Eric Quill talk about it. You can't be safe. The tournament format just doesn't allow it. Dallas has to win tonight for any chance, a realistic chance, to advance in a tournament format that just isn't very forgiving. And so Eric Quill wasn't exactly safe in his lineup choices. In most spots, he picked players that says we're going to go for this. The players on the field now, the choices, the mentality on the field has to be the same. They can't be safe. They have to be aggressive in their mindset. Number 3 is I think it's Santi Moreno on the spot. It's a makeshift forward line we just talked about. Moreno has showed real quality on the ball. He can sure pick out a pass, but there are times when I think he needs to be a little bit more of a goal scorer. And without Farrington or Musa in there to start tonight, I think tonight is the night that he needs to think a little bit more like a goal scorer. Those are your keys, presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. Before we take a break and get to first half kickoff, let's throw it to our PA announcer, Chris Bucambuso, for tonight's national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you sing by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red alert, the bombs bursting in air, yet proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care.
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to Mansfield, Texas, where it's new beginnings and a new competition for FC Dallas. Leagues Cup play is about to begin at the brand new Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. FC Dallas breaking out of their huddle. Down to our right, Querétaro in the visitors from Mexico in all white will attack from left to right in this first half. Dallas in their home red and blue stripes will attack from right to left. And Steve, we're calling a game from in the stadium for the first time in a while, and for the last time in a while. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be about a month before we see a game back in North Texas, right?
Well, Dallas starts off the Leagues Cup here needing a win. Only a win will do, really, to try and advance in this competition. As we are underway, the referee tonight, Daniel Quintero, blows the whistle, and Querétaro has possession to start. It's launched along the ground through the middle of the field up to Mano Martinez. The young player moves it along to the Querétaro right. An entry pass is blocked back out towards the near sideline, and Los Gallos remain in possession. It's down towards the corner flag on the near side. Uriguide up against Martinez, and it runs out of play for a Dallas throw. It's Mano Martinez, the 16-year-old, getting his first start for Querétaro formerly of the LA Galaxy Academy.
And that's literally man against boys there, isn't it? When Uriguide just sort of puts his body on him, and that battle was over quickly.
And interestingly enough, Dallas starting with inverted wingbacks. Bernard Kamungo over on the right side, Herman Johansson down on the near side from our vantage point as Querétaro continues in possession near the top of the Dallas box. They work it out towards the right side. And the cross comes in towards Avila in the middle, headed away by Nolan Norris. Valiente able to get a hold of it in the middle. Holstead's ball out towards Kamungo, deflects kindly for Moreno, who now drives through the middle, playing it out to the right wing for Julio, who's quickly getting up to speed, sprinting around the outside of Reyes, and Reyes concedes the corner. The captain for Querétaro with over 60 caps from Mexico, but now at 33 years of age, the last thing he wanted to see there was Anderson Julio getting up to speed, running around him.
Yeah, a good connecting ball from Santi Moreno, too, to put Anderson Julio in a good spot. And you're right, Anderson Julio takes a really aggressive first touch, just does the old under-12, kick it by him and run. And he got a corner kick out of it.
So it'll be Valiente from the far side. Moreno also joining in to offer the right-footed option. Referee blows the whistle, and Valiente raises the right hand, now whipping the left foot through it towards Julio at the near post. Still not cleared. It's Ibeaga back heel, cleared off the line. Now Holstead from the top of the box deflects wide, and it'll be another corner kick, this time from the near side for Dallas.
Good aggressive start there, and yeah, you're right, Ibeaga nearly pulling off the cheeky little back heel goal there at about 6 or 7 yards.
So the corner kick comes from the near side for Santi Moreno. Valiente joining as well. They've got a chance maybe to go 2v1 if they go short here, but that last ball into the area was a good one and gave him a chance to get on the board early.
I liked Holstead coming in and just taking a big lash at it at about 18 yards as well, getting the deflection and the corner kick out of it.
Holstead scored a couple of great goals from distance in his time in Rhode Island in the USL, making his first start for FC Dallas tonight.
Players looking right into the sun on this one.
Moreno whips this one towards the back post, and it's over everybody's head and behind for a goal kick. And it'll be a goal kick for Guillermo Allison, the 35-year-old veteran goalkeeper for Querétaro. He rolls it short to Reyes to his left, and they'll play it out to the far sideline, trying to build up from the back here. Down the line for the Brazilian Paulo Victor, and Dallas get bodies around the ball, force the turnover, knock it out off a white jersey, and it'll be a Dallas throw about halfway into the attacking half on the far side.
Dallas pressing with two initially, and then Joaquin Valiente immediately jumping the passing lane on the right side and helping to force the turnover.
Throw in taken backwards and moved across the back line. Nolan Norris does continue in the middle of the three. He rolls it out to the left side for Ibeaga, who finds the pass forward for Santi Moreno. He'll switch the point of attack back across for Uriguide again. Now Holstead has it in the middle. Holstead's pass intended for Moreno, given away, and it's quickly up to Avila. Avila down to the right side for Enzo Jimenez. The right back bombing forward for Querétaro. Good defensive work there from Holstead, getting back in, winning it back, making up for his mistake and giving the ball away. And now he's looking to combine with Johansson down in front of the coaches down to our right. Nice work there with Valiente coming across to help out as well, and eventually Johansson is dumped to the turf for a free kick.
We've seen twice already that Holstad's passes, he's just going to have to calibrate a little bit differently because this is clearly a different level than what he's used to.
Ibeaga restarts with a pass backwards to Nolan Norris at the top of the Dallas box. Head up, and he bends the ball up towards Anderson Julio, pops up off his chest, and Reyes wins the header. Possession back with Los Gallos. Abacia lifts it out towards the Querétaro right. Nice header, one, and back into the middle for Mona Martinez, who's dispossessed by Ibeaga. Ibeaga with a nice chop past his man, and the sliding tackle from Martinez puts it out for a Dallas throw. Clearly the youngster up for the fight there.
He's got a little something, doesn't he?
Well, they're calling him the next Gilberto Mora, and Gilberto Mora is still a teenager himself. Throw in taken into Holstad in the middle. Keeps hold of it to find Johansson, who will switch the play along the ground out to Uriguide. The right center back drives forward and plays it out wide for Bernard Kamungo, just into the attacking end. Dribbling forward, now cutting back. And they'll swing it once again through the back line. Valiente on the turn, right center channel, puts it up towards Julio. Julio looking to hold off the defender, but Avacia able to slide it clear. And now it's over the top. It's Avila. Avila with all 3 Dallas defenders in retreat. Now they're back in position as it's rolled out to the Querétaro right, inside the area. A chance for Jimenez. His cross is blocked behind. And it'll be a corner kick for the visitors.
That's a big mistake there by Nolan Norris. I'm not sure what he was doing. He just tried to sort of intercept the run and then just let the ball drop in behind him. I don't know if he thought he heard a shout or he thought one of his covering defenders was behind him, but they weren't.
I thought it was going to be the 16-year-old to take the corner kick, but now he's walked away. And it'll be an opportunity for Paulo Victor, the Brazilian, from the corner flag down to our right, the near side. 5 waiting in the middle for Querétaro. This is going to be an in-swinger off the left foot. Whipped in by Victor to the top of the 6, headed away. Still inside the area, volleyed effort towards the top of the 6 is cleared away. Possession stays with Los Gallos. Tried to lift it towards the back post. They keep possession wide to the 18 on the far side. Now a cross swung in off the right foot. Headed away by Kappas. And now Dallas a little bit out of position, but they managed to win it back with Santi Moreno. Working it forward up the Dallas left to Julio. Julio no way out up against 2 defenders. And that was the fear we were talking about in the pregame of not having that hold-up guy up front as he loses possession there, and Querétaro build up once again on this near side.
Tough tackle a minute ago from Santi Moreno. They don't pay him to do that, but he sure did it well in that instance.
Kappas forcing Querétaro back to the halfway line, and they'll swing it through the center circle now. Avacia out to the left back, Daniel Para. 2 wins from 3 games to start the Apertura for Querétaro, including a big win over Tigres last time out. Dallas wins possession back in their own half. It's Nolan Norris at the top of the box under some pressure. Out to the left side, Ebiaga needs to find a pass forward, and he knocks it out off of a white shirt out for a Dallas throw.
Yeah, that's the instance of that right footer playing as the left center back. You just have fewer escape routes there, and Ebiaga kind of got caught, got lucky to get a throw in out of it.
Ebiaga wearing the armband tonight for Dallas, takes the throw in up the line for Julio. Heavy touch as he turns it over, and Querétaro will move it back into their own half, uncontested along the back line.
Just to set up Dallas's forward line, it is pretty much what you'd expect. Santi Moreno left, Anderson Julio as the point man, and then Joaquin Valiente out on the right.
Avacia, the central of the 3, lifts it out towards the near side. Header 1 for Querétaro, but Urquide's onto the second ball in the center circle. Does well to win it back and find Christian Kappas. Just left of center. He turns back in his own half and returns it to Nolan Norris. Now back out to Urquide on the right side. Ahead and past the halfway line for Joaquin Valiente, who's combining now with Holstead in the central area. Holstead tripped up from behind, and he's got a free kick from just outside the center circle.
Nice turn there by Holstead, under pressure. Trying to get the ball going forward and just got clipped from behind.
Christian Kappas will take the set piece here. Holstead with 97 games for Rhode Island FC, 10 goals and 8 assists at the USL Championship level. Kappas lifts it out towards Johansson, who sprinted in behind, nodded back towards the top of the box. Valiente plays it into the area, bounces once. Now Moreno's onto it off the loose touch from Duarte, but it runs out for a goal kick as Duarte got away with one there.
It was a nice little lifted in ball that found Herman Johansson at that right center channel back behind the Querétaro back line. A little surprised he wasn't just a little bit more aggressive. What he did was he did what Eric Will said they shouldn't do, which was he played a little safe. Instead of trying to play something across the box, he sort of played it back into the path for Valiente, who was joining the attack.
Alisson lifts it up towards the halfway line. Contested there, and it's last touch off Sebastian Ebiaga. The throw-in for the visitors just shy of the halfway line. Duarte fires it up towards Avila. The forward is fouled there by Nolan Norris, who had a piece of the jersey, as Avila tried to hold him up. It'll be a free kick about 25 yards into the Dallas half in a central area. Negotiations ongoing with Santa Moreno and Paulo Victor about where the ball is going to be placed, as the targets from the back line for Querétaro have made their way up. Dallas sets their line just a step outside the 18-yard box. And Paulo Victor whips this one off the left foot, and it bounces once before Sirois makes the comfortable catch. That's his first involvement tonight, as we've played just over 11 minutes so far in Mansfield. Dallas with a couple of early chances from a corner kick, and that's about all either team can speak of so far through the early action. Dallas in possession, moving it across to their right side, and Uragide up to the halfway line. Holstead will turn and play it back once again for Norris, who's got it at the base of the center circle. Looking for options, rolls it out to the right for Uragide. His first touch is backwards, and he switches it along the ground for Ibiaga. Wide to Moreno, who receives it immediately closed down by Duarte. And Kappas looking for Johansson, gives it away. Dallas swarming around the ball now. And the whistle goes. Johansson fouling Carlos Garcia.
Johansson loves to use his hands on defense, doesn't he?
He's frequently called for it, as we've dealt with throughout the MLS season so far. We've got a Liga MX official in Daniel Quintero, over 100 games in charge in the Mexican top division, and he spotted the very same there, as Dallas have it off a loose pass there for Querétaro. Throw in for the hoops, and they'll move it along the back line across to Osaze. At the halfway line, Kamungo receives it. Now he drives infield on the dribble. Leaves the pass just behind Holstead. It's a turnover at the halfway line, and now Martinez driving through the left center channel for Querétaro. Dumps it off wide. Now the left-footed service in towards the back post. Brought down by Jimenez, set back to the top of the box, and Holstead reads the play there and makes the interception. Now he lifts it out towards Valiente, just shy of the halfway line. Valiente now dribbling in field, finds a nice slip pass to get Kamungo moving forward. Moreno's come across to combine as well, as Dallas have it just shy of the halfway line. Given away again by Valiente. This time, though, he was fouled by Victor.
Yeah, I think Quintero is saying the foul actually happened a little bit earlier. And one of the things you'll notice in Leagues Cup is, especially with the Liga MX referees, is they don't like to give you that bailout foul that I know you don't like, Ryan. So, and I appreciate when they referee that way. They don't give you that easy bailout call.
Pass forward from Valiente, just off the mark, looking for Moreno, and it turns over for Querétaro possession. Just outside the center circle, Duarte bringing it forward. Now he switches it across to the opposite side for Para. The Spaniard Carlos Garcia gets a touch of the ball. Now back wide once again on the Querétaro left. Low ball in behind the Dallas back line is swept out for a throw by Uragide, sliding to keep that away from Martinez.
Once Querétaro gets into the final third, they are looking to get the cross in as early as they can. They don't really want to mess around with the ball and circulate and combine. They just want to get the ball into wide positions and cross, it looks like.
Diego Reyes in the center circle, now past the halfway line, hits a switching ball in the air out towards the far side, chested down for the run of Para in behind. Kamungo gets there first, gets a touch of the ball. He's down, waiting for the whistle, which eventually goes. And it'll be a Dallas free kick deep in their own end.
Good aggressive play there by Bernie Kamungo to get on the end of that long pass, and he sort of paid the price for it.
Steve, what do you make, as we've played nearly 15 minutes, of the decision to go with Johansson on the left, Kamungo on the right, something we saw Eric Quill experiment with early in the season, but we haven't seen it for a while now?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Johansson was looking a little bit more comfortable on the right as a wingback, so I'm a little bit surprised at it. But right now, what they're missing is that central reference point.
It's out to Valiente on the right side. Julio making the run in behind Valiente with the pass towards Moreno instead. It's well read by Garcia. Wins it back for Querétaro under pressure in their own half here on the far side. And nice work there from Uragide, who hopped the passing lane, but it had run out of play just before that. And that's a reprieve for Los Gallos. Be a Dallas throw, but it would have been Uragide driving forward towards the top of the box. It'll be Kamungo, who is playing on the right side, to take the throw. Looking right into the sun. He fires it into the feet of Valiente. And And they'll swing it back into the Dallas half for Nolan Norris. Holstad, ball forward, looking for Kappas, intercepted and now lifted up in behind towards Avila. Ibiaga coming across, nice header back for Jonathan Sirois.
And just one more time, Holstad he's got to sort of figure out that the passing lanes that you get in USL, they're just going to close up a lot quicker at this level.
Johansson dispossessed along the near side. Jimenez with support from Duarte. He whips in the ball towards Avila. Shot towards the near post is just wide.
And again, they're just barely in the final third, and then there comes the cross, whipped across from the right side, and that one did have Sirois worried just for a moment.
Ali Avila, the 22-year-old striker, really starting to come into his own with Querétaro after a couple of different stops with Pumas and Monterrey. 3 goals in 3 games this season, and when they're supplying service like that, he can be lethal inside the area. Sirois launches it long from the goal kick up to Johansson, who nods it in behind. It's a foot race to get to it. Julio up against Reyes, and Reyes uses his positioning well there, and Julio has pulled up, and he's walking off the field. Totally out of the play now as Querétaro brings it forward on their left side. Up towards the attacking third, played in behind. Kamungo with positioning. Is going to watch this one over the line for a goal kick, just about. But Julio is clearly feeling something as he's walking back now.
Well, you know, it's interesting because a while ago we saw him really turn on the Jets on the right side. This time it was on the left side, and you're kind of thinking, wow, he's not lost any speed, but you're almost thinking also it's early in the game. Does he really need to be going that fast? And sure enough, he's sitting down, and I think his day is done.
And it is Petter Musa first up off the Dallas bench. Thought they were going to get him the night off, at least from the start, but as we're in the 18th minute here, it's another injury blow for Anderson Julio, whose season has been a story of these exact situations. Even going back to last season, he found good form, scored 6 goals. He had significant spells out of the team because of injuries. And looks like it's popped up once again for him here.
I'm having a little laugh here because referee Quintero is sort of indicating to the teams, hey, get away from the benches. This is not a timeout, and nobody's listening to him. It's definitely a early hydration break for both sides as they're all gathered around their coaches on the sideline drinking water. And why not, by the way? I don't know why Quintero wouldn't want them doing that.
Musa is going through his paces here, warming up, and it looks like we will see him in place of Julio once the Dallas number 11 is up and off the field. They're calling for the stretcher crew. His injury that kept him out since week 3 of the season was a knee injury, not a soft tissue injury, but the way he pulled up on that sprint against Reyes, it looked like hamstring or similar.
And he's visibly upset too, so you don't like to speculate here, but seeing how upset he is, it's tough break for him.
Well, he'll go off under his own power, but gingerly, accompanied by the Dallas training staff. Another blow for Anderson Julio as Musa's got the jersey on, ready to replace him. Mentioned in the pregame show, his brother Joan Julio scored the winning goal in Vancouver last night for Atlante in a shock win for the Mexican Minnows. And Julio was clearly looking to replicate that feat in from the start today for his first start of the season, but it comes to an unfortunate early end, and Petter Musa is applauded onto the field by the Dallas faithful here in Mansfield.
No, it absolutely stinks for Anderson Julio, but I will say this, that typically if somebody goes off injured, before the 20-minute mark, your team gets a little weaker, but in this case, the team just got a lot stronger, not only in terms of personnel, but also I just mentioned they're missing that central reference point, and now I think you'll see that they have it. We'll see what happens. By the way, Bernie Kamungo has now gone over the left, and Herman Johansson's on the right.
Launched out towards the Dallas right side where Johansson is contesting forward. It's out for a Dallas throw. Up towards Musa, looks to hold it up for the first time, and Moreno trying to pick up the pieces. Querétaro work it out towards the near side where it's intercepted by Kamungo, put in behind into the 18 for Moreno's. Dribbling backwards, finds the slip pass to the top of the box. Kappas returns it to him. Scooped ball in towards Musa, is off the mark, headed away. And Holstad will recover possession for Dallas.
Nice combo play there between Kappas and Moreno.
And Kappas looking for Moreno again. And it's just poked away from him by Reyes, out for a Dallas throw in the attacking third. And I think instantly, as you predicted, Steve, the team has a little more life with Musa coming into the game, maybe a little more belief.
Well, they immediately played a ball into him that he was able to hold up and keep the attack moving.
That's Moreno at the near corner of the 18. Launched out for another Dallas throw.
Yeah, Ryan, he wasn't exactly clean on that hold-up attempt, but he did enough to allow players to gather around him. And as I said, it turned into a little bit of something inside the penalty area.
Kamungo's throw is flicked up in the air and cleared away. Ibiaga with a nice touch to switch the point of attack over to Uragide as Dallas keep possession. Osaze 10 yards into the attacking half on the Dallas right. Switching ball in the air towards Kamungo, who's fighting with the sun, brings it down off the thigh. Perfect first touch, and now he's looking for a way around Duarte. Sliding tackle from the Colombian, who now comes away with possession. Kamungo, though, bites back, got a piece of the ball, and now Avila able to turn past Ibiaga. Now he drives past the halfway line, pokes it wide for Jimenez, who checks it back. 3 to his left. He's going to hit the switching ball in the air across to the opposite side. Johansson uses his stature well there, wins the header, and nods it back towards the halfway line where Los Gallos keep possession. But they give it away. Loose pass intercepted by Musa, and Holstad can't connect there with a teammate. So it'll be Querétaro possession once again.
Yeah, Holstad's passing has not been great tonight, but I tell you what, he's got speed. He chews up ground really fast.
Ball lifted out towards the Querétaro left, but off the mark, intended for Victor, and it's behind for a goal kick after some nifty footwork near the halfway line. Gave him a chance. It was the opportunity wasted by Santiago Homenchenko to put that ball in behind.
I tell you what, another thing I like about Holstad is I think it's, to me, it's without Kaike in there, they miss a little bit of athleticism, and I think he's immediately replaced that in the midfield. If he just get his timing right on the passing, I think they've got a little something.
Launched long from the goal kick up to the halfway line, bounces over the head of Uragide, out for a Querétaro throw. It's something that Sirois struggled with at the weekend against the Galaxy as well, just keeping the goal kicks in play and in contention for Dallas to challenge for it.
Yeah, and you know, back before the break as well, he's got to make that first connection off those goal kicks.
Querétaro advance up the left side near the corner flag on the far side. Uragide defending as it's set wide, launched off of Uragide up to the top of the box, now scooped into the area. Foot race to get to it as it comes outside the 18 down on the near side. Kamungo up against Jimenez. Jimenez chops towards the byline. Kamungo shielding it away from him as it stays in play. And Moreno drops in to help facilitate a way out here for Dallas. Holstad up to Musa. Musa with the loose touch this time, gives it away. Now the low cross into the top of the box. Set up for Avila. Avila cuts back to his right, fires the low shot. Saved by Sirois at the near post.
I'd say Dallas has had slightly more possession, but that's 2 good chances for Querétaro and Avila.
And Dallas now looking to build here. Moreno in the middle of the field, over towards Kappas, just off the mark, and that's been the story. No matter who's making the passes, even Petr Musa moments ago. Now Homenchenko from distance, shot saved on the volley, caught by Sirois, who's being called into action more consistently now. It's what we saw in LA, where he made a career-high 9 stops. It's just got to be cleaner in possession for Dallas, as Uragide walks it forward on the dribble, approaching the halfway line.
And the thing is, Querétaro is not really pressing hard and high. They drop into the mid-block pretty quickly. Dallas just has trouble getting through it.
Ibiaga left to the back 3, plays it ahead towards Kamungo. Drop of the shoulder at the halfway line. Now he darts inside, going on the dribble now into the middle. Switching the point of attack across to Johansson, who's brought inside by a slightly under-hit pass there. Possession in the center circle for Clay Holstad.
That's one way to break that mid-block, to beat that mid-block. Just dribble by a couple of guys, as Kamungo just did. Beat 2 or 3 and get them collapsing.
Ibiaga quickly out to this near side for Moreno. Finds Holstead in the middle. He's got some time on the ball. He's going to hit the switch in the air, looking for Johansson, but off the mark, and it bounces behind for a goal kick. And that will take us into the official hydration break here in the 26th minute. We already had the one unofficial break for the Anderson Julio injury. Daniel Quintero, the referee, waves everybody over. And unlike at some venues throughout the World Cup, this one is certainly a much needed break for these players, as temperatures were in the mid-90s today in Mansfield.
And most, just about all the stands now are out of the sun. You know, for a while there, the stands over on the east side were sort of bathing in that low-setting west sun, but now it's turned into at least a shady evening for everybody.
I will take the chance to tell you a little bit about Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. It's the new home for North Texas SC, the Dallas reserve team in MLS Next Pro. They broke ground back in December of 2024, and they only opened recently on July 1st. First ever game was held here on July 4th for North Texas SC. Holds 7,000 fans, and it features the longest bar in an outdoor American stadium. It's called the Mansfield Mile, Steve. You might catch me there after the full-time whistle down to our right.
See you there, buddy.
But it's a fantastic venue. It's going to host the CONCACAF Women's Championships, including the U.S. Women's National Team at the end of this year. It's already hosted Dallas friendly against Orlando, and this is the first competitive game for the big club here at the home of North Texas SC.
I mean, what a great little place. You know, if you travel around Europe and places through South America, you see these places all throughout. You know, smaller clubs that have a nifty little home ground, and this one, I mean, brand spanking new and looks great. Most of the stands are covered, so if there's a little bit of rain, please let there be rain again at some point in the world here in Texas. So if it happens, you're covered, mostly.
And ironically enough, most of the stands are blue or blue and gray, which are the home colors for Querétaro. So they might feel a little bit at home as well, playing against FC Dallas for the first time, but not at Toyota Stadium. Launched long from Querétaro on the goal kick. Nodded forward by Ibiaga. Now it's at the feet of Peter Musa, moving towards the near side. Loose pass from Kamungo, gives it away. And now turning at the halfway line, it's Avila. Into the center circle for Victor, who skips past Kappas and plays it out to the right side. Advancing forward, but forced backwards now up the near sideline. Duarte has it for the visitors.
It's got to be frustrating for Eric Quill, just not good passing tonight.
Good work there as they hit the diagonal switch for Johansson just to nod it back to Sirois. And Johansson wanted the ball played his way immediately. Sirois instead rolling it out to the near side where Norris is playing on the left of the back three now. Scooped ahead to the halfway line. Header won by Diego Reyes. Back towards Norris, who then commits the foul into the back of Enzo Jimenez. Seemed like Dallas, with the return to the three at the back, wing back structure, and Musa and Farrington up top together, they didn't quite create enough attacking opportunities in the Galaxy game, but it felt like they had a little more pattern of play. It felt like it flowed a little bit better. Get to that in a moment as they prepare the free kick here. Querétaro scooped in by Homenchenko into the area, headed on target, and Sirois makes a comfortable save.
All right, now, Ryan, Dallas' wingbacks just aren't getting into the attack enough. And I think it is going to help having Musa in there to play into initially. But at some point, you know, the wingbacks have to make some kind of an impact in the match here.
Musa receives it in the center circle, moving backwards into his own half. Moves it across to Norris. Looks like he's switched to play on the left of the three, as Moreno has it on the Dallas left, just shy of the halfway line. Switching it along the ground over to Uriguide, who's the only defender who's now playing in the position where he started the game as we've played 30 minutes. It's back across to Norris again. Ahead down the line for Kamungo. Dallas just playing it through the horseshoe, as it's sometimes called. Avoiding playing in those pressured areas in the middle of the field, just moving it along the back line. Norris has it now at the halfway line. Kamungo into the middle for Holstead, back for Norris. Sometimes, though, getting this rhythm of passing can help, especially in a game where And so many simple giveaways. Uriguide working through tight corridors, gets it ahead to Musa. Musa at the tip of the center circle, along the ground, over to the right side, Valiente. Johansson out wide, he plays it into the area for Moreno. Moreno got a touch towards goal, but it's going to be covered up by Guillermo Alison.
That's a really nice little pass that Valiente just slipped into Moreno, making that diagonal run from the middle. He just couldn't sort of swivel his hips around enough to play the ball with any force across the face of goal.
And Dallas won it back off the goalkeeper's punt. It's Moreno now in the middle of the attacking third. Poked forward for the run of Valiente, and it's repelled out for a throw. 10 yards from the flag on the near side.
Yeah, nice turn and feed there from Santi Moreno. I feel like the more they can get him on the ball, the better.
Dallas moving it along the ground out to the right side. Johansson receives it, passing back towards Uriguide. 10 yards into the attacking end. Finds Holstead, all kinds of time. Moves it over to Norris. Back for Holstead in the middle. Closed down by Omenchenko. Forced back to Ibiaga, who's now the middle of the back three. And Valiente receives it. Popping to the left side now for Dallas. Runners ahead of him. He plays it wide for Kamungo. Kamungo, first touch. Now he crosses it in. Deflects off of Moreno and up into the air, where it's caught by the goalkeeper. But Peter Musa appreciating the service there. Applause towards Bernard Kamungo.
Yeah, and I like it too. I mean, it's what Querétaro has been doing. Just Bernard Kamungo found himself with a little bit of room ahead of him, and said instead of circulating the ball a little bit more, we're just going to try a cross here, and almost found Musa in there.
Launched long off the punt and headed out of play by Ibiaga for a Querétaro throw just into the Dallas half.
And I think that's what Eric Will was talking about when he said they can't be safe. They've got to try things like that.
Musa winning it back there, just shy of the halfway line, gets it back to Kappas, and it deflects all the way back to Sirois, who will pick it up inside the area. Sirois fires it out to Nolan Norris on the Dallas left. Moved across the top of the box and over to Osaze once again, who will drop the shoulder and drive forward on the dribble up towards the halfway line, now combining with Johansson, who's being forced back as Osaze made the run in behind. Now Holstead receives it from the back line, looking to turn, looking for options. Out to the right side for Kappas, who's filling in there. Ahead to Santi Moreno on the turn now. Poked forward for the run of Holstead, who sets it for Valiente. Left center channel. He played wide now for Kamungo. Kamungo with 3 in the area. Towards the byline, Valiente, cutback ball cleared away by Reyes and kept in play on the near side here by Nolan Norris.
Dallas just starting to find some passing lanes in the final third.
Kamungo and Valiente in tight quarters on the near side. Pass it backwards, move it to the halfway line for Ibiaga, now quickly switching it across for Uriguide. Moreno through the middle, ahead to Musa, looking for the 1-2, tried to find Holstead, who had made the run forward instead. It's given away. And Musa commits the foul as those two try and get to grips with each other here in live time. Played 34 minutes so far at Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. Both teams with opportunities. Querétaro with the better looks. And we expect some significant first half stoppage time to play as well after the Anderson Julio injury in the opening 20 minutes and the hydration break. Scooped up towards the front line for Querétaro. Avila, drop of the shoulder, and sets it wide for Duarte. Up against Kamungo, 1v1, wide on the near side. Drop of the shoulder, now the low cross in is deflected back to the top of the box. Volleyed effort into the area is cleared away by Herman Johansson.
I mean, Querétaro never met a crossing opportunity they didn't want to take advantage of.
Reyes with the switching ball out to Victor. Receives it under pressure from Uriguide. Kept moving now. Back for Omenchenko. 30 yards from goal. Right center channel. Wide for Duarte, who whips it in off the left foot. This time it's a diving header attempt just off target for Querétaro.
And that time Ibiaga sort of got caught up in traffic, or just seemed like he just sort of let the ball get in behind him, and diving header there could have been a lot worse than it was for FC Dallas.
Yeah, and it was Avila, the danger man.
And he wasn't more than 6 yards as he met that ball with his head.
Holstad dispossessed now, 5 yards outside the Dallas box. It's wide to the near side for Jimenez. Jimenez sets it back for Duarte at the top of the box. His shot blocked by Holstead. Spins out to the near side. Jimenez, another cross in, allowed to bounce. It breaks at the top of the box now. It's Para through traffic, low and into the area, repelled behind for a corner by Ibiaga. And it'll come from the corner flag on the far side. Querétaro with 3 players going out towards the flag, potentially to offer the short option. Paulo Victor standing over it, teammate nearby. Querétaro fans find their voice. It's taken short. Dallas getting bodies out to close it down. Whipped in low into the area, set back at the top of the box. Now a shot volleyed through traffic and off target there for Carlos Garcia. That brings it into the attack.
I mean, it is nothing complicated with the visitors here tonight. It is get ball forward, get ball in box.
Sirois sets up for the goal kick as Dallas makes their way up towards the halfway line. 60% of possession for the home side, 4 shots, 1 on target. With 40% so far for Los Gallos, it's 6 shots, 3 on target. Launch long up to Musa, who wins the header. Can't find the run of Valiente as he flicked it on. And Querétaro get a lucky break there. Avila was offside as Pedro Musa made a tackle. It hit off of a Querétaro player, spun in behind, and Avila was already there, so the flag goes up.
Yeah, Avila was 3 or 4 steps offside. And he decided he was just going to go ahead and keep going until, even though he knew he was offside, until he heard the whistle, which is the right thing to do.
Arguide just shy of the halfway line. Heads it forward for Johansson. Trying to work it through tight corridors with Kappas. And we get a throw in. Taken by the Swede.
Johansson wasn't really making his way up the left side after the switch at about 20 minutes. Now he's on the right. He's still just not being any kind of a factor on the attack in this match.
Moves it backwards there for Uriguide. Ibiaga now returns it to Osaze. Kappas at the halfway line, moving backwards again. Gallos trying to set a trap on the far side. Uriguide willing to try and split the 2 defenders on the dribble.
And he's done that a couple of times tonight.
Now Kappas has it in Osaze's usual spot. Plays it wide for Uriguide, who's popped up in Herman Johansson's usual spot as Dallas gets some interchange going on that right side. Back out wide once again for Osaze. First touch backwards, but he connects with Holstad. Holstad pokes it back out towards Osaze, who is tripped up. Really thought there was going to be a free kick for Dallas. And the referee's whistle never came. It's out for a Querétaro throw.
Yeah, and that's some of the contact that, again, you just don't always get when the Leagues Cup referees are involved. Which, again, I think is fine as long as they're applying it evenly.
Querétaro hook it forward. Johansson repels it back out for another throw.
I thought maybe Johansson would enjoy this refereeing a little bit more. He's just got to keep his hands free. You can be a little bit more physical, but you just can't make it obvious.
He was defending there as it went out for a throw initially given to Dallas. Now the referee reverses the decision, so Querétaro to take. Launched up the left side for Los Gallos. Avila goes down. Uriguide defending. No whistle there as Osaze comes away with it. Now Kappas fires it forward into the center circle for Moreno. Moreno runs into Duarte but keeps possession. And now Nolan Norris has it at the halfway line. Thought about going long. Instead, still on it here.
I didn't come off that time, but I really like the idea of finding Moreno as early as possible.
And the instruments have arrived as Dallas makes their way up the right side. Johansson from the byline. His cross blocked behind for Dallas corner.
And there's a difference, though, because Johansson, as he arrives there, he's looking to get the cross in. He looks up. He's got Pedro Musa as the primary target, and Moreno somewhere in the area, but that's it. Every time Querétaro gets the ball advanced, they're loading up with 3, 4 guys in the box.
Valiente from the far flag. Moreno steps away. The Uruguayan whips it in off the left foot into the area. Urquide's header on target, spilled for Musa. Saved again by Alisson. Huge double save there for Los Gallos. As Dallas gets the crowd to their feet there, their best chances tonight have come from the corner kicks.
I mean, great job by Urquide. He really had to fight his way up high to head that ball down, forcing a really high-quality save, and the ball was sitting there for a minute. Peter Musa just couldn't quite reach it in time. Got his rebound shot from about 4 yards stuffed.
Alisson was slow to get up. Now he's back to his feet. 35-year-old veteran who's only become a starter over the last couple of seasons. He's a career backup that's having a late renaissance in his career.
That was a great save as he went down low and quick to his left.
There's a long throw for Clay Holstad. Launched into the area. Allison comes and spills it. It's still not cleared inside the 6-yard box. It's covered up. Some combination of a Querétaro defender, Osaze Urquide, and the goalkeeper, Alisson.
It's just a wreck there of 3 or 4 players, and Urquide like laying on top of all of them.
That's something we saw training the other day. Clay Holstad, he does have a bona fide long throw, not a long enough throw, a true long throw. That will be a weapon when he's on the field for Dallas.
I mean, sometimes those balls arrive somewhat near the corner of the 6, and his got there in a hurry.
Alisson launches it long. Ibiaga wins the header into the center circle, recovered there for Querétaro by Omenchenko. Lifted up the right side. Norris trying to step in front and does well. Volleys it up the near sideline. Garcia had it for a moment for Querétaro, but he runs it over the line.
Ryan, maybe that big chance for Dallas can inspire just a little bit of confidence, because while Querétaro has had more chances, that was probably the best chance of the game, I thought.
You know, I think the band showing up as well. You know, it's given the game a little bit more rhythm, unironically. You can feel the energy in the place lifted.
Where were you guys?
I can imagine stuck on a highway somewhere trying to get down here.
They didn't go to Frisco, did they?
That would be comical, but they've made it in time in any case. Querétaro in possession along the back line. Reyes under pressure from Valiente. Pokes it wide to this near side where Duarte hooks it forward. Loose pass off the left foot is won back by Holstead. Sets it down for Musa. Musa ahead to Moreno. Middle of the attacking half here. He's got options either side. Slips it in behind for Johansson. Johansson with Musa waiting in the middle. The cross blocked. And Musa frustrated that it never arrived for him as he was unmarked at the top of the 6. It will be a Dallas corner.
No, it's not like Johansson wasn't trying. I mean, it was a really nice turn in the midfield by Moreno. He got going quickly, gave a good ball in a good place to Johansson. And Johansson did try to push the ball across the face of goal and just had a white shirt in the way.
Another corner here. Another opportunity for Valiente in the 45th minute. To the crowded 6-yard box off the left foot. Flicked up in the air by Avila and behind for another corner.
Ryan, what you like is that the half is really ending well for FC Dallas.
I think we saw some really good work on set pieces in LA as well on Saturday. Clearly had that time over the World Cup break to come together and refocus a situation in which they were really not dangerous from set pieces in the first part of the season. That can change here as Valiente whips it in right on top of Alisson, who makes the catch this time through traffic. And he's going to roll it out as Querétaro look to go quickly. Moreno able to block the counterattack initially, but they've still got possession with Avila on the halfway line. Battling with Moreno. Omenchenko comes away with it. Referee plays advantage as they switch it across to the far side. Moving into the Dallas half. Daniel Pata, left-footed ball whipped in towards Avila. And it's going to be well off target behind for a Dallas goal kick as he was matched up there with Nolan Norris. It was actually Omenchenko challenging for it.
I mean, is Peter Musa looking at Avila and saying, why can't we have a little bit more of that? Early service, driven in there into good spots. And Avila he's a handful back there for FC Dallas' center backs. 3 minutes of stoppage.
Into those 3 minutes of first half stoppage time, it will be a Dallas goal kick to restart. And I think when you look at that situation moments ago with Johansson, it perfectly encapsulates it. Moose has made the exact right run, and Johansson, with maybe a half second of hesitation, gave the defender a chance to get back, and that's a tap-in goal. And they've connected on that goal already this season. Just couldn't do so that time as Herman took just a little bit too long. It's launched out towards him. He's putting pressure here on the back line for Querétaro, knock it out off the Swede, behind for a goal kick. Well, unless something changes in these final 2 minutes of first half stoppage time, it's going to be now 2.5 games consecutively without scoring for FC Dallas. Hasn't been for want of opportunities over this last game and a half, with the LA game, which they accumulated over 2 XG, didn't score. They've had chances in this first half as well. Querétaro threatening here in the final minute. Advance on their right side. Duarte has it. And Norris does well, winning it from the Colombian after a heavy touch. Working it forward up the near side for Moreno. Can't find a teammate, it's given away. Now driving infield into the middle, Jimenez. Now out to the left side for Paulo Victor. Left-footed ball over everybody's head. It's going to break for Omenchenko and Querétaro on the near sideline. Final minute of the 3 added on. Omenchenko looking to get to his left foot. Combining as he moves backwards and now whips it in off the left foot. Headed away by Kamungo. And it's Querétaro who continue to dominate possession in this stoppage time here. It's a left-footed ball sent in low along the ground. Nobody making the run that time. And Serwa able to make the claim.
There's just a real clarity of what Querétaro wants to do with the ball.
Launched long by Sirwal, up to Musa, who's the one-man attack here, juggling in between 2 defenders. He goes down, and he's got a free kick in the final seconds of stoppage time. And it will be a yellow card as well for Lucas Abercia, first player booked in this game. And that was all Pedro Musa. Route 1 from Jonathan Sirwal, who spotted the Moose with seconds to go in the half and said, this is our best opportunity to do something with it.
And Musa was 2v1, and what does he do? He gets a free kick out of it at about 35 yards. Don't really think this is shooting range, but definitely something you can serve in, and it'll be the last action of the first half.
We'll see. Looks like it'll be Moreno or Valiente take the free kick. Dallas with 3 players on the left side at the top of the box and 3 players on the right side as well. Now everybody making their way across towards that right side. It's still pretty well spread out across the top of the 18. And it will be Moreno. Scoot ball in towards Johansson over his head and behind for a goal kick. And that should just about do it for us here in the first half. Bit of a strange first half. Dallas comes out in one alignment, has to make a substitution because of the Anderson Julio injury, swapping players around on the field, ultimately building up towards creating some decent chances in those final 10 minutes. Steve, how do you reflect on the opening 45?
Not exactly what FC Dallas wanted to see over 35 minutes, but as you said, final 10 minutes created a really good scoring chance, best of the first half. So maybe they can take a little bit of that rhythm and momentum into the second half after the break.
Well, they're into the locker room here at Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. Still scoreless in the Leagues Cup opener as you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Your fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. the spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation, and the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
After 45 plus at Mansfield Stadium, it's all 0-0 between FC Dallas and Querétaro here in Dallas's first match of the League's Cup. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas Halftime Show, brought to you tonight by our local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by our halftime crew of Steve Davis and Garrett Melser. No highlights since there are no goals just yet, so we'll go ahead and get you your halftime stats. Those are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possession-wise, goes the way of Dallas 59-41. 7 shots for Dallas, 4 of those on target. 10 shots for Los Gallos Blancos, 3 of those on target. Each team has a big chance and a big chance missed. Each team has 80% passing accuracy. 5 fouls for each team, 1 yellow card that went to Querétaro in the 45th plus second minute. Now let's bring in our halftime crew. It's Steve Davis, it's Garrett Melser. And Garrett, we've now seen a half of play and a little bit more from Dallas in their League's Cup 2026 debut. What are we thinking?
Well, I think it could have been a lot cleaner for that first 45, I'll be honest. I do not think that was FC Dallas at its best or anywhere near it. Especially the first 30 minutes or so. They just couldn't get out of second gear and had a lot of trouble progressing the ball, honestly, beyond the center backs. So every time the center backs would find a central midfielder, it seemed like the ball went right back to them and not a ton of movement ahead of those guys. It seemed like in the last 10, 15, though, they started cleaning up just a bit, kind of getting balls into wide areas, getting Herman Johansson in particular into some good areas. Unfortunately, his final ball never really found Petter Musa, even though he did find some space in the box at times. But I think just overall, just clean it up a little bit, because I don't see anything like, and maybe Steve can speak to this, I'm certainly not a tactics expert here, but it seemed like even if the tactics were working, they couldn't have worked very well because the first or second passes just let Dallas down more often than not.
And to be fair, what's happening out there, it's not like Querétaro is pressing high and hard. They're just dropping into a really good solid mid-block, and it is hard to get through there. Now, that said, you're right. You've got to find passing lanes, but then when you find a passing lane, you got to hit it. You got to hit it. You got to hit it with technique. You got to hit it with timing, and that's what's been missing tonight for FC Dallas. But it's for a while there, I thought it was Holstad that was giving the ball away a little too much. I sort of just put that down to he's got to get used to a little different level of speed and play, and the passing lanes closed a little bit quicker. But to be honest, nobody was really passing very well. And then, as you said, over the last 10 minutes, I do think that as Anderson Julio, it really stinks for him. But I thought that they were really missing that central reference point. It's not his fault that he doesn't know how to play that. That's not his position. As Musa came in, and I think Dallas started to recognize then the passing lanes and figuring out what the game looked like with him in there, and that's when they were able to get into the final third with a little bit more with a little bit more consistency and started finding the opportunities and eventually create the game's best chance, I thought. The header from Osazi on the corner kick.
And it's worth noting, too, as well, Steve, there was a lot of shifting around in that first half. As you mentioned, Anderson Julio, who started the game, had to come off due to injury. In comes Petter Musa. We saw Nolan Norris and Sebastian Biaga flip at times. We saw the game start with Bernie Kamungo and Herman Johansson flip around a little bit. We saw a lot of interchanging. At one point, even Christian Kappas went to the back line. So there wasn't a lot of positional consistency. And I wonder if that has something to do with just Dallas being a little bit uneven until they kind of return to their normal formation for the last about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. There's also going on 2.5 games now without a goal. And I think once you get to something like that, what happens is if you've been scoring on the regular, which they were before the big long break, you tend to stay with what you've got because you believe in it. Once you get into this, 2.5 games without a goal, you start thinking, shoot, man, what's going to work here? So we've got to start switching it up a little bit.
And Garrett, when you kind of look at what Dallas put out there to start, you mentioned kind of the tactics not being able to work. I think we also saw one of the downsides of going with that smaller front three until Musa came in. because it's not that, Moreno, Julio, and Valiente aren't talented, but in some cases the defenders they were going up against and even some of the midfielders were just big enough to really disrupt their passing lanes, disrupt their routes, and just create problems for them up in the final third.
Yeah, I think that's always the fear when you start what is essentially 3 wingers across your front line. They all want to do the same things, and they all kind of want to occupy the same positions. And maybe that makes it a bit easier on defenders because regardless of which frontline player it is, you know what they want to do. They want to get the ball and then turn and go and running behind. Now that Petar Musa is in the game, obviously he's a guy who wants to drop deep. He's fine playing with his back to goal, and he'll put a shoulder in you, but he'll also run in behind. It makes the game have to be a bit more 360 for those defenders rather than everything being in front of them to an extent.
And what would make it a little bit more 360 is what we saw over the last 10 minutes. If those wingbacks could get up a little bit higher, a little bit faster, and give that back line a few more choices to make and create a little bit more of a 360 confusion around them. But I thought over the first 30 minutes, Bernie Kamungo maybe getting up the left side 1 or 2 times. That was about it. And again, that has to do with Musa. When you can play into him, that allows your wingbacks to get up a little higher. That's what started happening. But I want to see a little bit more of it still.
So as we look at potential second half adjustments, Steve, obviously you're going to have Petar Musa for probably the duration here. We'll kind of see how that plays out. If you're coming with the idea of, okay, we need to build around him because he's kind of our big offensive weapon, based on what's available to Eric Quill tonight, how do you kind of break this mid-block, low-block deadlock that Querétaro wants to throw at you?
I want him to find Santi Marino as early as possible, as often as possible, because he is a guy that he's always willing to take the ball in a tight space, and he can usually do something with it. When he can get in there, we saw him do it 3 or 4 times. We saw Bernie Kamungo do it once. When you can dribble that first guy or maybe even a second guy, well, then everything starts breaking down around you, and that's when a guy like Musa can then pop out, open up, find some space, find the next guy, and you can really start making some hay that way. But I think it's been a little too slow sometimes in finding Marino. He seems to be making himself available. The problem, of course, Garrett, is that I don't know how much longer Santi Marino is going to go because he typically doesn't go. If he goes more than 45, it's never more than 60.
That's true, and that's a shame because I think you're right. I think he's the type of player that can break a game like this open. When you're playing against a team that's going to sit a little bit back and cut off passing lanes, then how do you break lines? By someone who can get the ball and turn and dribble. Yeah. And he might be the only profile in this team that wants to take players on and likes to receive the ball facing with a defender on his back, but can oftentimes get out of that and then turn forward. And maybe Joaquin Valiente can do that to an extent, but Santi Moreno is by far the most adept at that exact thing.
And I think that brings up an interesting idea, maybe coming out of the half or shortly after, because you probably know Santi's on a clock, that he hasn't played more than about 65 at his highest. Is this a situation where if you're Eric Quill, you're going, okay, we're knocking on the door going into half. We've seen that Musa has made things better. Do I maybe go, okay, I'm going to go grab Logan Farrington off my bench, pair him with Musa, and see how much those two and Santi Marino can get before you have to pull off Santi?
I wouldn't mind him going a little bit more direct that way, and I think that's what you would see if you put those two together because there's not a lot of creativity out there right now, and when you take Santi Marino off, there's even less of it. So the other thing I think we got to mention, Sam, is we keep talking about FC Dallas and scoring, how they're going to score, which is important, but the other team's trying to score too. And, there's just, I'd mentioned, there's just a real clarity about Querétaro with what they want to do. They want to get the ball into wide positions early. They want to find 2 or 3 runners in the box, get a couple of numbers in there. And Dallas only has 3 center backs, so that means, somebody's going to have to make sure they're tracking midfielders in there because there have been times when there's 4 guys in there as targets. It is predictable for the FC Dallas center backs. Just get yourself in position, get your body shape right to defend a cross because it's coming. It doesn't make it easy. Predictable doesn't mean it's easy.
And I think, Garrett, that could mean that if we look at the second half on that side, this might be a game where you see Kite come in for about 30 to 35 minutes, bring his energy, bring that tenacity, or maybe if you have even just a little bit of, I don't know how much he's got in his legs, we've got Ramiro available tonight for him. Obviously, he doesn't maybe have the wheels that a Holstad or a Kite has, but he's got that brain, and that might be enough to kind of help organize Dallas and keep them on the right shape.
I think it would be great to see Ramiro in general, I mean, not just for this game, but just for FC Dallas this season, because we've seen with him out of this team, it's a different team, and maybe it's not ideal that Dallas is quite so reliant on their captain because he's getting up there in his mid-30s now, and you probably can't play every game full 90 minutes, but this team is better with Ramiro in it, that's for sure. So I do hope that he gets on the field and can get some fitness back in those legs. And you mentioned Kayik there. I think we've seen a lot of Kayik recently. He's played a lot of minutes because Ramiro hasn't been there. I'd like to see Caleb Swan. You know, I think this is a really good opportunity in Leagues Cup. The pressure is a little bit different than MLS games. This is a stadium he's played in a few times already for North Texas SC. I think this is a really good stage for Caleb Swan to come in and make an impact.
And you're right. I mean, even if you look at it and say, is Caleb Swan the best opportunity to win this game? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is, man, the depth is just going to be more and more important as they hit this stretch where it's 2 games a week.
And you want to find out what you have in Caleb. Yeah. You know, he's looked great at North Texas level. Sometimes in training he looks excellent as well. In the preseason game he had moments, but sometimes looked a little overawed. But you don't really know what you have until they're out there performing. The pressure's on, the lights are bright, and the fans are here. Seems like a good opportunity to get him in and see exactly what he's all about.
And, of course, if we get to about the 75th minute and there's no goals or Dallas is trailing, of course, you can break glass on Sam Sarver if you need to, because that's absolutely a potential. And we've seen him win games and tie games for FC Dallas. And if you need him, he's right there for you. And I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get out there and score some goals for his club coming out of the World Cup break.
I'm sure the fans would love to see him as well.
It's a win-win for everyone, I feel like, especially if FC Dallas can come away with a win. But that's going to do it for the halftime show tonight. We'll take a break. When we come back, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for the second half of action. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible?
The treatments are over, the infusions are done. Now you can get back to all the kid fun. We'll miss you lots, but you'll be happy to know chemo is over, so it's time to go.
At Children's Health, we're making groundbreaking advancements in cancer treatments every day to bring more healing and more hope to families. Innovative treatments filled with hope. That's incredible together. Learn more at childrens.com.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Just moments from the second half kickoff here in Mansfield tonight. Scoreless after 45 minutes between FC Dallas and Querétaro here in the Leagues Cup Round 1 opening match for the Hoops. Looking around some of the early action in Leagues Cup today. Inter Miami leading 4-2 over Atletico San Luis. Orlando City leading 1-0 over Monterrey at halftime. Scoreless at the break between Nashville and Leon. And Steve, this tournament and the dynamic and the table and the way it's set up, it means you're really, if you're an FC Dallas fan, you're rooting for every other Liga MX team and every other matchup to come away with, if not 3 points, at least holding the MLS team, because ultimately it's stacked up MLS against MLS to see who advances in that side of the bracket.
Yeah, but that creates some conflict because I think if you're a Major League Soccer fan, you want to see Major League Soccer teams beat the Liga MX teams. So I do know what you're saying, though.
Dallas will move from left to right in their red and blue hoops in this second half. Querétaro will move from right to left from our vantage point in the all-white uniforms as we get the go-ahead, and we are underway. One change at the break for Eric Quill as Clay Holstead, his first start is cut short. He's replaced by Kayik at the break, and the ball is launched long out to the Dallas right side over the head of Johansson, out for Querétaro throw. And Steve, it felt like maybe if they hadn't had to already use that first half change and sub window, maybe they give Clay Holstead 10-15 minutes to come out in the second half. But with that sub window and sub opportunity taken away from them, they've gone early here at the halftime break.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. When you have to make that early sub, it does change the way you have to manage the rest of your changes.
So Dallas have now used 2 changes with 1 sub window. They've still got 3 available to them with 2 windows in which to make them, as it's worked back to Sirois, who passes it quickly out to Nolan Norris, whose ball up the far sideline is deflected out for a Dallas throw. The back line continues from left to right. Nolan Norris, Sebastian Ibiaga, and Osaze Uragide as they ended the first half, not how they started the game.
And Herman Johansson on the right, Bernie Kamungo on the left.
Back to Sirois under pressure, and he's sliding to clear his lines up to the halfway line as Musa just about able to find a teammate. Kappas now in the middle of the defensive half. Back for Johansson, who lifts it forward, looking for the run of Valiente, but it breaks for Musa at the halfway line, holds off the challenge of the defender. Quickly ahead to Bernie Kamungo, advanced up the left, now into the 18. Bernie Kamungo, left-footed shot, rebound, breaks for Moreno, who scores. FC Dallas shot out of the cannon at halftime, score within 90 seconds, and they lead in Leagues Cup play.
Well, I said Moreno needed to be a little bit more of a goal scorer tonight. I thought it was going to be that way because Musa and Farrington weren't going to be in there. Musa comes in, and Moreno still acts like a goal scorer. That was a pretty athletic finish there because as the ball rebounded hard off of Bernie Kamungo's shot, it bounced up a little high on Santi Moreno, so he really had to adjust his body quickly and lift his left leg high up in the air and just slipped that one into the back corner.
And it started with some good work from Petar Musa at the halfway line as he received it, held off the challenge there from the Querétaro midfielder, who rode his back until he released the pass out to Bernie Kamungo's shot. Fell right to Santi Moreno. The poacher's instinct for Santi Moreno, who grabs the goal. Dallas's first goal in Leagues Cup play since Sam Junka in 2025 on the road at St. Louis.
No, and you're right. It's a good pick out on that Musa action in the middle of the field because, I mean, he didn't ride off a challenge. He rode off a foul attempt. I mean, there was a recognition there of what was about to happen, and the defender tried to foul Petar Musa. And are they looking at something here, Ryan?
Maybe an offside on the shot taken by Kamungo with Moreno's positioning. Nothing that stood out to me in the live action, but they are still holding the restart here. Santi Moreno, 2 goals and an assist in 13 matches in MLS. He showed good form with Portland, his previous club in Leagues Cup, as the goal's confirmed. And he's carried that form over to his time here in Leagues Cup with FC Dallas, wearing the hoops as Santi Moreno opens the scoring tonight. Goalkeeper for Querétaro, Allison launches it up to the halfway line. Header won by Johansson. And Musa now making life difficult for Abasia, who manages to keep possession. He'll lift it up the near side. Avila onto it. Off a loose touch from Uragide, who's now defending. Avila moving backwards up the near sideline, holding off Uragide, who makes the tackle. And it's last out off Osaze for a Querétaro throw. And Querétaro take it quickly. The run coming from the backside. Jimenez now hooks it into the area, and Sirois makes the catch. As they tried to take advantage of the fact you can't be offside on the throw-in. Something Dallas nearly did in LA late in the game as well.
I mean, Querétaro players don't even need to be facing the goal to get the cross in. That time, over on the sideline, cross came in on an overhead.
Uragide plays it forward to the right center channel. Now Kappas on the turn, just shy of the halfway line. Plays it into the middle. Kaike keeps it moving over to Kamungo. And now there's runners in the attack for Dallas as Bernard checks back, finds Kaike 10 yards beyond the halfway line.
See, that's an instance where Santi Moreno was making himself available, and Kamungo just didn't find him or didn't want to find him. It just played the negative pass instead.
And the equation has changed with that goal coming out of the break. FC Dallas leads 1-0 here in the 50th minute. Launched long by Los Gallos. Header won by Uragide, nodded forward.
I mean, it's changed some, but, this is what Eric Quill was talking about when he said you can't sit back. You have to stay aggressive.
And Valiente now entry ball into the feet of Musa. Musa near the top of the box, still under pressure from 3, keeps it, finds the ball out towards Johansson, cutting back inside the area, low ball in. Moreno looking for Musa with the first time pass. And the whistle goes for a foul there as Musa dangled the leg.
Musa's got such good feet for such a big guy. I mean, he kept the ball there and got caught up under his feet just for a second, but he's moving at speed and he's able to keep the ball, keep it moving, do something with it.
Querétaro will launch it long. Allison to the middle of the Dallas half. Ibiaga wins a towering header there up to Valiente. Trying to keep hold of it at the halfway line. He takes the last touch as it runs out for a throw. Los Gallos, 2 wins from 3 games to start the Liga MX Apertura season. They whip a left-footed ball in towards Avila, who I believe was offside. Flag never came up, as it's Sirois who tracks down the loose ball, and now the flag does come up. Essentially, it will be a goal kick to restart things. But this is a team that's finished 10th or lower in every season. That includes the fall and spring as separate seasons since 2019. It's a middle of the pack at best side in Mexico, despite their strong start this season. And under new head coach Esteban Gonzalez, it's one where when you look at the 3-game schedule for Dallas, this is the game where they felt they had the best opportunity to come away with all 3 points, with Chivas waiting on Saturday and Toluca awaiting Dallas's visit next Wednesday.
I had that Chivas game at PayPal Park that promises to be sound a lot like a home game. Chivas of Guadalajara, a very popular team in Mexico, and I'm sure they've got plenty of fans in the Bay Area.
Johansson fires the throw back into the middle of the field, where Norris will drive forward to the halfway line. Played out to the left side for Camungo. Drop of the shoulder, now he's moving backwards again. And they'll drop it off all the way to Sirois, just outside the Dallas box. He's closed down by Avila. Left-footed pass back out to Norris, who receives it, turning forward. Fired forward. Moreno takes it on the chest and goes down. And that's going to be a free kick conceded there by Diego Reyes. And a yellow card as well for the veteran Mexican center back. And Musa thought it should have been more, perhaps. He was immediately up in the face of the referee. Tonight is Daniel Quintero, Mexico.
Yeah, I think yellow's a pretty fair call there.
Dallas has a free kick about 15 yards into the attacking half, left center channel. Valiente and Moreno standing over it. 2 players in a makeshift wall for Los Gallos. It's Valiente with the left foot into the area, up towards Ibiaga, bouncing around at the top of the box. Johansson now hooks it in, scooping low as Querétaro had it clear. And Querétaro running out of play on the near sideline. Big sliding tackle from Kaique, and that brings some fans to their feet.
Yeah, good fair challenge too.
A couple of players for the visitors surrounding the referee. Didn't like the nature of the challenge, but he got all ball. As it looks like Querétaro will make their first change here at the next opportunity. Waldo Madrid is up. I'm not sure he's going to be allowed to come in. He will not. He'll wait as Querétaro take the throw. Kaique now nods it out for another throw, and now Los Gallos will make their change.
You're right. This is about, speaking of changes, excuse me, this is about where Santi Marino would start tiring. And so you sort of wonder what's in Eric Quill's mind now. Does he stay aggressive and get a Logan Farrington maybe on the field and go for that second goal, or does he try to go just a little bit more defensive if he does have to subtract Santi Marino?
Waldo Madrid, the 22-year-old, is on to replace Mono Martinez, 16-year-old who made his first start tonight. Didn't make much of an impression on the game as the attacking midfielder for Querétaro, although he had a couple of nice early moments. He goes 55 minutes in his full debut tonight. Dallas have a throw near the corner flag, deep in their own territory. Johansson will take it, lifting it high into the Mansfield night sky. And Whistle goes. Handball against Christian Kappas, who's down after the play as well.
Substitution for Querétaro in the 53rd minute. Entering the match is number 29, Waldo Madrid.
He's slow to get up, and it'll be a free kick halfway into the Dallas half. Querétaro in the left center channel of their attack. Set down by Paulo Victor. Brazilian with Valiente, the one-man wall. Dallas sets their line at the top of the 18. Conversation now for the referee, trying to break something up at the top of the box. Nolan Norris not impressed, as his palms raised towards the official. Whipped in, plenty of air underneath this one, and Sirois will make the catch under some pressure inside the 6-yard box. Fires it over to Nolan Norris, who will bring it forward from the top of the Dallas box on their left side. Doesn't spot anything ahead of him, and he checks back, moving backwards now, rolls it into midfield for Kappas. Nice pass out once again to the Dallas left for Kamungo, who nutmegs his man there coming off the far sideline and quickly plays it into the middle. Valiente now driving through the circle. Poor pass there, looking for Johansson, gives it away just as things had opened up, and now a chance maybe for Querétaro to counter. It's ahead to Avila. Avila bearing down on the top of the box up against Ibiaga, cutting to his right foot. Now sets it back for the late runner here. It's Duarte from distance, and it's up and over the bar, saved by Sirois.
It really looked like things were on there for Dallas as Valiente was driving diagonally toward the right side. Herman Johansson was racing forward, and you saw the pass. Everybody in the stadium saw it, and Valiente just simply underhit it. Sent things going back the other way quickly.
And they'll take the corner kick from the near side. So Paulo Victor prepares for an outswinger, although now teammates coming across to join in as well. Querétaro in no hurry to take this at all.
I mean, they look a little leggy to me. They look a little tired.
Both teams coming off playing on Saturday. As it will be now whipped in off the left foot to the top of the 6, headed away by Norris, back out towards this near side. And it's Madrid, the substitute, with a heavy touch over the line for a goal kick.
And Eric Houle talked about how they're only 3 games into the season, so he sort of anticipated they might not be quite at full match fitness.
That's so often been the case for MLS sides when it comes to CONCACAF Champions Cup play, which takes place in January and February, where MLS teams may not have even started their season yet, and they're playing these high-stakes, competitive continental matchups.
Yeah, and the difference is it might be a little bit, well, it's going to be cooler during those, whereas up here at Querétaro probably isn't quite used to playing in 95-degree temperatures.
Well, there's a free kick whistled against Pedro Musa for, to me, negligible contact, and immediately all the Querétaro players making the signal towards the referee they want to see a card, which, by the way, that gesture is also worthy of a card. Not enforced on this occasion. Querétaro set up the free kick. Abacia switching play in the air. Moreno's got a beat on this, though, and he intercepts it just outside the center circle in the attacking half. Now scoops it out to the Dallas right. Valiente, first-time ball back for Johansson. Johansson now to the top of the box, whips it in. Musa inside the area, looking to turn. Onto his right foot, fires the low shot, saved by Allison.
Good moment there for FC Dallas, going a little bit more direct, and nice pick out by Herman Johansson into Peter Musa.
Avila giving Urguide some trouble on this near side, but Osaze and Kappas able to work it clear. Now Valiente has it, still in the Dallas half. He's going to switch the point of attack over to Nolan Norris on the left. Turn and play it back for Sirois, as we've played an hour now. Sirois chipped ball forward into the left center channel. Moreno receives it on the turn. Does well to get it forward towards Kamungo, but he left the pass behind him. And then Moreno commits the foul on the halfway line. Taken quickly for Querétaro. Possession with Homenchenko, who's dispossessed there, just at the base of the center circle. Now Musa moving forward, plays it out to the left side. Moreno eating up the yards on the dribble. Options either side. Ball in behind for the run of Johansson at the back post. Oh, he rattles the bar. A chipped finish, beat the goalkeeper, but hits the frame. Musa onto the second ball at the top of the box, trying to scoot his way through defenders. Goes down. Referee waves him back up. Dallas keep possession back at the halfway line. Johansson looking for his first goal for FC Dallas, nearly had it there. Now he's down and holding his right leg as he tried to turn and was fouled just in front of the FC Dallas bench down to our right.
It's a tough break for Herman Johansson because it was such a really nice pass from Santi Marino. I mean, Santi Marino just eliminates the entire back line with that pass that comes from the left center channel all the way over to and arriving Herman Johansson in the right center channel. Had a little bit of a angle on the pass, and Herman Johansson just got moving at full speed, and he just couldn't slow himself down enough to take a little bit of weight off the shot. Beat the goalkeeper Allison, and then just couldn't beat the couldn't beat that crossbar.
We'll restart play here with a Dallas free kick about 15 yards into the attacking half on the right side. Moreno hangs it up towards the back post. Challenging for it there was Nolan Norris. It's going to spin out towards the sideline, kept in play by Querétaro.
Just banging my radio partner Ryan Figert on the shoulder here, trying to show him that pass from Santi Marino. It was so good.
He's come alive in this second half. Already scoring the only goal so far in the night. Querétaro advancing up the far side, past the halfway line. Now it's a ball in behind. Quick cutback cross is well defended at the near post. And now Haik with the ball into the middle to find Valiente, who breaks that line of pressure. Ahead to Musa. Musa loose with the first pass and then gets back onto it. And is Petter Musa going to be booked here?
Yeah, I think maybe for persistent fouling, but I
thought he was the player fouled.
I think that was two players going for the ball. I think you're right. Musa had just a little bit more of the angle, I thought.
Well, the good news is yellow card accumulation extremely unlikely in this tournament. You have to be booked in all 3 games of this phase 1 and then advance to then be suspended for the quarterfinals. And yellow cards and suspensions do not carry over between Leagues Cup and MLS play. Just ask Luis Suarez, who's sitting out this entire tournament. But a free kick in the middle of the Dallas half for Querétaro. Homenchenko lines up a shot from distance, overly ambitious and over the bar.
Valiente was only standing about 6 yards away. Referee never made him retreat any more than that, and I think he turned his back on that, which you're not really supposed to do, but I don't blame him. I don't think he wanted any part of that.
I'm not sure even 6 yards away that 5'5" Joaquin Valiente was really in the equation there for that shot. Launched long by Sirois, up to Musa, who goes down there. Took a heavy blow from Homenchenko. And a couple of Dallas players not happy with the nature of the challenge.
I don't blame him. I mean, Petter Musa was just carded himself, and Homenchenko there, he's absolutely not. He's nowhere near the ball. He just goes and takes a little run at Petter Musa.
The Uruguayan, 22-year-old at the heart of the midfield for Querétaro, has had a good start to their season. And he's given away the free kick here. It's in the Querétaro end, about 20 yards into the attacking half for FC Dallas. As Valiente is going to play it short to Kamungo. Kamungo now hits the diagonal out to the near side. First time cross in from Kaike towards the back post, just out of the reach of Herman Johansson. As it was elaborate, but it nearly came off there. Eventually out of play for a throw for Querétaro. Now reversed, looks like to a Dallas throw? I'm not sure entirely.
No, it was definitely Dallas throwing.
So it'll be a Dallas throw on their left side. Taken into the middle. Kappas receives it under pressure from 2. Finds the ball over to Kayik. Player hits the deck for Querétaro. Referee waves play to continue. Musa over to Moreno. Moreno slip pass through, looking for Valiente. And Valiente had gone early. He was offside. Couldn't control the pass anyway. Querétaro restart play. They've made one change, bringing on Waldo Madrid in the second half. Dallas have made 2 of their 5 available changes. Contested ball at the halfway line. Eventually, Kayik just launches it high and clear, and it's nodded back to the goalkeeper for Querétaro.
On a warm night, Eric Quill probably wouldn't mind getting some fresh legs in there, but you know, that early substitution just sort of handcuffs him a little bit.
Booming punt downfield, eventually nodded back to Sirois. Pick it up there. Now sets it down at his feet. Played forward for Kayik, who takes it on the turn, but then a loose pass into the middle, gives it away, and Dallas is light at the back here as it's ahead to the top of the D. Kappas on the retreat, gets back in time. As it was given away there with a loose touch from Enzo Jimenez. Now going the other way, it's Musa. Over to Kamungo, left center channel at the top of the box, back towards Musa, just out of his reach. He tracks it down, wide to the 6, now looking for a lane to shoot. It's repelled away. Valiente, loose touch around the top of the box, and the attack breaks down. Referee plays advantage as Querétaro swing the other direction. Avila looking to keep it in play up the near sideline, wins a throw off Urquide. And then he just put his hand in the face of Urquide, and he should be off. The referee takes the yellow card out, but I'm not sure he saw what we saw, and we had a great look at it. Avila went right into the face of Urquide, then got his hand up and pushed him down. Obviously, Urquide is not going to go down with a push, but he goes down there, and he picks up a yellow card as well, and that is a ridiculous decision, in my opinion. I'm not sure what Osaze did wrong at all.
And to be honest with you, Ryan, I was watching for a replay of the missed opportunity for FC Dallas, so I didn't see it. It happened right in front of us.
And as we restart play now, it's Osaze jawing with Avila. Has to be careful. A red card would obviously affect things. Regardless of suspension, it would affect things tonight. Querétaro now lines up for a long throw from the near sideline. Launched in towards the penalty spot, headed away to the top of the box. Querétaro with possession near the center circle. Quickly forward, Garcia. Garcia, 4 defenders around him, lines up a shot from distance. It bounces up in the air, and Moreno has it now. Waiting for support. Finds Musa, the edge of the circle. And those two can't keep possession as the white shirts came flooding back for Querétaro. Ball slipped in behind on this near side, but Urquide gets his body in the way, goes down. Referee is going to say corner, and now the Querétaro player standing over Osaze on the ground.
That's, you know, referee Quintero has been allowing players to do that. That should be a yellow card too, and that would be. Does Tomachenko have one?
I don't believe he does. He could have had one.
Yeah, I think a while ago I was thinking he should have had one.
Corner kick for Querétaro. They've got 2 players here to take it short, and they do. Set back for Madrid. Bending right-footed ball into the area, headed away by Norris. And Duarte picks up the loose ball for Querétaro, immediately puts it back in. Sirois makes an easy catch.
Nice clearing header there by Nolan Norris, and I think everybody along the back line has been really solid tonight for FC Dallas. Again, it's been predictable because you just have to get ready to defend the cross. But again, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
I've watched a good amount of the first 3 games for Querétaro in this season. I don't feel like they've been this cross-heavy in league play. And you'd think, okay, maybe something on the scouting report against Dallas, but Dallas is the league leader in terms of least goals conceded from crosses in open play this season in MLS. And that's continued tonight, as now Musa's whistled for another foul just outside the center circle in the Dallas half.
That's pretty soft, I mean, compared to what some of the other things we've seen, and Moose has to be careful now. He's carrying that yellow card.
He came on back in the 20th minute for an injured Anderson Julio. Maybe you take him off you weren't expecting to have to ride him tonight. We've got Logan Farrington, Sam Sarver available as the restart is lifted into the Dallas area, headed by Urquide back to the top of the box. Parra pursued by Valiente, gets to his left foot, whips it into the area, headed away by Norris. And Moreno has it, 15 yards outside the Dallas box, coughs it up under pressure from 3. Garcia slipped into the right center channel, well read by Norris, who makes the interception, and now Kamungo will dribble it out towards the Dallas left. He lost possession, but it's regained by Musa, who works it away with Nolan Norris, doing really well there and eventually winning a free kick. A little bit of afters as well. Duarte and Norris now jawing at each other.
Dallas has to be careful because they're in the catbird seat here. You know, it's Querétaro that has to chase the game, has to pursue the goal. Dallas is okay, just kind of making things competitive and combative and feisty.
Well, maybe things will simmer down as we head into the hydration break here in the 72nd minute of a 1-0 game. Dallas lead through Santi Moreno in the 47th minute. And it looks like they're readying another change as well. Shaq Moore getting his jersey on, Patrickson as well. And that would leave Eric Quill with one change and one window after that.
Right, I tell you something that's very encouraging here. We'll probably see Santi Moreno substituted, but he's gone 70 minutes here, 72 minutes, and he still looks pretty strong. You're right, he did cough the ball up there on his last chance on the ball, but that was tough. He received it in a tough pocket. There are 3 white shirts around him. But, you know, what we've seen so far is Moreno effective for 45 minutes or maybe 50 minutes, but then he tires. I mean, if they can get 70 good quality minutes like this going forward out of Santi Moreno, I think that really bodes well for Dallas.
Taking a look at both huddles, it's the first-year head coach Esteban Gonzalez, 44-year-old from Chile, in the huddle for Querétaro. It's his second head coaching job after he had one in his home country. Eric Quill leaving some of the individual instruction to his assistants, Mark Briggs, Michel, Drew Keyshawn. Things to go over with individual players as the huddles now break. Dallas makes their way back out onto the field, leading 1-0.
Looks like it's Herman Johansson going off. That'll be the change for Shaq Moore.
Johansson not emerging from the hydration break, and the referee, the fourth official, is currently in a 4-on-1 conversation with the entire Dallas back line. But now backs away. I'm not sure what the confusion was. Moreno is waiting nearby as well, and as you predicted, he'll most likely be the player replaced here. Moore already with the armband on.
Shaq Moore having to explain to the fourth official that the number you're about to put up, that guy's already on the bench, so don't worry about him.
And it's 10 off, 8 on. So Moreno is replaced by Patrickson. And Johansson, already on the bench, is replaced by Shaq Moore. With 16 plus stoppage time to go. And there will be considerable stoppage time in this second half. Querétaro will still have Seattle Sounders and LAFC to play, both of those away games for them, as a select number of the top seeds out of Liga MX get the opportunity to host games, and that includes Toluca, where Dallas will head a week from tonight. Querétaro restart play, launching it long into the Dallas half, and Ipiaga is penalized there for a shove in the back on Enzo Jimenez.
And the thing is, Ryan, if Dallas can hold on here, you know, it'll probably make that game against Toluca, it could at least make that game against Toluca mean something.
And we saw one team with 9 points, one with 8, and 2 with 7 advance for MLS in the 2025 Leagues Cup, as Dallas did not participate. Their last time in the competition, 2024, was a short-lived experience. Losses to St. Louis City and FC Juarez. The one before that, though, unforgettable. Though it ended in the round of 16. That way it ended, a 4-4 thriller with Inter Miami. As Querétaro advance up the far side, Ibiaga defending. Got a piece of it, and Norris hooks it out for a throw. That may be the highlight in the lives of many FC Dallas fans if they were in attendance that night. Certainly my favorite game I had the privilege to attend, as this one's a shot from distance, saved by Sirois. Homenchenko not closed down there, about 7 yards outside the box. Curler off the left foot, palmed behind for a corner. Paulo Victor will take it. Everybody back defensively for Dallas. This one whipped in towards the near post, headed away by Musa. Picking up the loose ball, Garcia now switching it across the ground over towards the far side. Cross lifted into the area. Musa again to the top of the box. Garcia from 18 yards out. Shot saved by Sirois, diving to his right, and another corner is on the way.
Was just his right hand, or did it catch a little bit of the post as well?
It was well placed in any case from Garcia. Here's the follow-up corner, whipped in again off the left foot, headed back to Garcia at the top of the box. He'll return it to the taker here, Victor, quickly closed down, but he gets a left-footed ball in towards the back post, put it back across. It's a bicycle kick attempt up and over the bar by Avila. Homenchenko, who had the shot from distance saved moments ago, his influence in this game is growing. He nearly set that one up for Avila.
Sirois took a big tumble into the goal stanchion back there.
Well, Dallas have already found themselves down one goalkeeper with Daniel injured a couple of games ago. Only most teams naming a third goalkeeper for Leagues Cup. There is no third goalkeeper for Dallas tonight. It's Michael Colodi who's waiting in reserve. Sirois is back up, moving a little gingerly. Getting the countdown now. It feels rather harsh after the referee just helped him out of the back of the net. That is one of the rules that is being implemented coming out of the World Cup break. Sirois launches it out towards the Dallas right, and it's out of play. And it will be both teams making a change at the next opportunity. Get to that in a moment. Up the near sideline, Shackmore battling for it, and at right wing back, it's back, and Sirois will be able to come and cover it up.
And the very spot that he was holding, that sort of right thigh area, is where he just had to slide and collect that ball. No good deed goes unpunished, right?
Punt is lifted up towards Musa. Flicks off the Querétaro head. Abacia makes it clear from the halfway line. Kappas nodding it forward. Let's go up. Nobody got a piece of it. Shackmore challenging. Kayik comes across. Uragide commits the foul. And now here comes the changes. And it will be Ramiro making his return from injury to replace Christian Kappas in midfield for Dallas.
And that will be it for the Dallas changes.
Going to be Jean Onjanke, the Senegalese winger, coming on for Querétaro. He replaces Byron Duarte. So a fullback coming off for a winger. Looks like they'll move Jimenez back a line. Or maybe just go into a more attacking shape here, needing a goal with just over 10 minutes to play.
Dallas is now in just a pretty box standard 4-4-2.
It's Musa forcing a giveaway. Valiente couldn't find the through ball back towards the Moose. Ball spinning out towards the sideline on the near side. Uragide dispossessed. Foot race to the ball. Shackmore gets there first. And Dallas able to work it clear. Ramiro ahead to Uragide, advancing up the near sideline. Left the pass behind Musa, and with Osaze doing a little bit of freelancing, Valiente is at center back for the moment. Out all the way now to the left side for Kamungo, shy of the halfway line. Ramiro coming in, his return from injury suffered in the build-up to returning after the World Cup break. Valiente now spreads it out to Shaq Moore, advancing up the Dallas right side. Ball back into Valiente inside the area. Curling left-footed shot finds the back of the net. Joaquin Valiente to double the Dallas lead. A kiss off the inside of the post and a moment to savor for Joaquin Valiente.
Joaquin Valiente really wasn't having his best night, to be honest. He's missed a couple of passes. Looks like he's getting a little tired, but he finds the ball right at the top of the penalty area. Good job of Shaq Moore getting forward from his right side, from his right back position, helping that get that attack going forward. It's Shaq Moore that cuts inside and gives the ball back to Valiente, and then, as you said, he just is able to get himself turned to step inside the 18 and curl a nice little ball around Allison into that left side post. That might do it. That might be enough.
Waco off the mark for FC Dallas, had provided 5 assists so far in MLS play, but hits the back of the net there via the back post for the first time. And as we're in the 82nd minute, the 2-goal lead feels a lot more assured now. And goal difference could matter as well. You're talking about this format for Leagues Cup as it's launched along towards the top of the Dallas box. Bounces through for Sirois.
By the way, Patrickson Delgado, give him a half assist on that because he makes a good diagonal run away from Valiente, drags one defender away, and that just helps open up a little bit of space for Joaquin Valiente.
It's been very obvious since Ramiro stepped on the field too, just an extra level of calm in the middle in possession. Dallas defending now as Garcia plays it out to the Querétaro right. And Junque back, and now all the way back to the center circle for Avesia. On the ground to the left side for Parra, who lifts the left-footed ball into the area, headed away by Uragide. Dallas with the ball at the top of their own box, worked forward to Patrickson. Dropped off for Musa with really nothing he could do with that ball. And Kaik with some good dueling there up against Avila. Runs out for a throw on this near sideline.
You feel like Dallas now just needs to manage the game a little bit better and just make sure they're taking their time on everything, slowing the tempo wherever they can.
I know they're going to defend a few crosses in these final 7+ minutes as Querétaro advance up their right side. Played ahead to Njunke. Njunke's cross blocked by Norris, spins Bernard Kamungo's way. Now he drives forward on the dribble, and Njunke biting at his heels. Kamungo keeps hold of it. Norris eventually lifting it forward up towards Musa. Nodded back into the center circle where Patrickson brings it down. Now he drives forward, the furthest man forward for Dallas. Loose ball breaks for Musa. 1v1 at the top of the box. Musa to the right foot. It's Peter Musa forced wide of the 6, and the last touch came off of Los Gallos. It'll be a corner. Patrickson has stayed down, though, behind the plate.
All things considered, not the worst outcome for FC Dallas because with the corner kick, with Patrickson Delgado down, they can just take a little air out of the ball, so to speak.
Well, the concern, though, is that the training staff has now come on for Patrickson.
Yep.
And that means he may be in some serious trouble here with 5 minutes to go. Even if he can continue, he'll have to wait off the field for a minute or so.
Meanwhile, 3 changes at the midfield stripe for Querétaro, including the highly unstable number 199.
The tradition of Liga MX teams with triple-digit numbers for players in the academy system working their way into the first team. We're going to see number 199 come into the game, Sergio Garcia Brothers. But the stretcher is coming on now for Patrickson. And Dallas have already lost their other Ecuadorian, and Anderson Julio back in the first half. Patrickson off the bench in this second half, clearly worse for wear. He's now being helped back to his feet slowly.
So as he's driving forward toward goal, he tries to evade one tackle challenge, and he gets stepped on a little bit, and so he takes a little awkward tumble, and he might have gotten a little knee on knee as well, and that's always painful.
We'll see if he does need to take the stretcher off the field here. The stretcher came on for Julio in the first half, and Anderson ended up walking off the field.
Well, they're doing the thing where they're sort of checking for ankle stability. He's going to be able to get up and walk off under his own power, but as you said, he's going to have to stay off for a minute.
Well, here come the changes for Querétaro.
The stretcher crew's getting a workout tonight. Twice they've run on the field and run right back off.
The fourth official had me tricked. He had the wrong number in red and the wrong number in green, but Carlos Villanueva is going to come on rather than coming off. The center back is into the fray, replacing Avesilla. Jimenez is replaced by Eric Duenas, formerly of LAFC and the Houston Dynamo. And finally, we will see Carlos Garcia replaced by Sergio Garcia brothers. Born in California, now rocking the number 199 for Querétaro and into defend this corner kick. Dallas sets it up from the near side with Joaquin Valiente.
Shots 18-9 in favor of Querétaro.
Whipped into the 6 and caught there by Allison, who launches it forward for Njanke, who's got speed. He's the only man forward as he retrieves it and waits for support. Njanke wide to the right side. Just Avila waiting in the middle as it's set back to the Senegalese winger. Up against Shaq Moore in the wide area on the far side. Set back for a cross in towards Avila, headed by Uragide out of the 18 towards the near side. 1v1 on the near side. It's good work for Querétaro. Paulo Victor gets the cross in, repelled away. Valiente giving it away there. I think you're right to call out some fatigue for the Uruguayan as another cross comes in, headed away by Ibiaga.
You can have a little fatigue when you've just provided your team with the insurance goal.
Dallas momentarily playing with 10. Patrickson waiting to re-enter the game once that 1 minute plus has elapsed. It'll be at the referee's discretion. Querétaro wide on the far side. Norris defending against Njanke and does well, shielding it over the line for a goal kick here in the 89th minute.
I mean, I think Nolan Norris has been the best along the back line tonight. He's really having a good week for FCD.
Patrickson making his way back out onto the field, and that's a good sight to see. Seems to be moving okay. You know, once you've already had the trainer come on, you might as well take as much time as you can at that point. You're going to have to wait off the field either way. Long up towards Musa. Header one for Querétaro by the recent substitute Villanueva. And there's a head-to-head collision. And Saze is waving off any attention. It's more a concern for the Querétaro player, as it'll be a Dallas throw. But Paulo Victor is a little slow to get up.
Shaq and Osaze Uragide having a big discussion with the fourth official, but I think this is Shaq Moore.
They had a problem with the fourth official when Shaq was coming into the game as well.
They did.
And Shaq Moore picks up a yellow card.
I wonder if this is just Moore being a little CONCACAF-y and understanding this just, you know, you just create a little chaos and eat up a little more time.
Up towards Musa. Couldn't connect there with Valiente. It turns over here in the 90th minute for Querétaro. We'll see what the fourth official now has to say in terms of stoppage time. He's picked up the board, programming it now, and he'll wait to hoist it up as Querétaro have possession here in the attacking half. Shot from distance, Homenchenko spilled by Sirois back into the 18. But Ibiaga able to sweep it clear. Launching it forward up towards Musa.
I like Omachenko. He's a good player, physical, big, but also technical.
In the center circle, Eric Duenas getting a touch. Former LAFC homegrown player. Querétaro advancing up the near side as we'll play into 6 minutes added on, nearly one already elapsed. Omachenko from the Querétaro left, in towards Avila. Norris wins the header at the top of the box and nods it behind for a corner. Not sure that was what he intended to do, as it gives the Mexican side another corner kick. It will come from the near side corner flag. As it has been all night, Paulo Victor whips it in off the left foot. Allowed to bounce in the area before Kaique hooks it clear. Lifted back in by Los Gallos. Header won by Ibiaga, up in the air. Kept alive, bouncing inside the D. And there's bodies all around. Eventually, Uriguide sends it high into the night sky. Not too far clear, ultimately. Hooked back forward to the front line. Omachenko battling there with Uriguide. And Omachenko commits the foul as Uriguide went rolling. That'll be a Dallas free kick inside their own 18-yard box here as the clock continues to wind down.
I think FC Dallas now doing exactly what I was calling for a while ago, just mucking the game up a little bit, adding a little bit more gamesmanship into the night, making sure it's 14 or 15 seconds instead of just 8 or 9 on every restart.
Sirois launches it long, floating towards the sideline on the near side and out of play. Next up in Leagues Cup play, Dallas will face Chivas on Saturday, an 8 o'clock Central start. Join us here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. Wherever you're listening right now, we will be once again. Chivas will start their Leagues Cup play with LAFC, and that one is about to kick off any moment now. So after this one, you want a nightcap, tune over to that one on Apple TV and catch Dallas's next opponent. Dallas in possession in their own half. Kamungo plays it out to the left side, ahead for Patrickson, just shy of the halfway line. Loose touch there, given away. And now a chance advancing up the right side for Njonke. Whipped in low towards Avila, beat Uriguide, but didn't beat Sirois, who again stands tall and makes another save from close range.
I mean, honestly, I think this is one of Sirois' better nights for FC Dallas. He just looks more confident tonight.
Throw in from the far sideline for Los Gallos, cleared away by Ibiaga. Halfway into the 6 minutes added on. Another cross hooked in, and it's caught this time by the Dallas goalkeeper.
And Sirois, if you could just clean up those goal kicks a little bit. He's put 3 of them out of bounds tonight.
Ramiro receives it in the middle, exuding the calmness required. Plays it out to the right side for Shaq Moore. Beats his man. Lifts it into the center circle for Valiente. Down for Ramiro again, who switches the play over to Kamungo, who can bring it once again across the halfway line. And Dallas now with some possession away from their own goal. Sirois coming off of 9 saves in LA, 7 saves tonight, and a couple of minutes away from another clean sheet. Really good work there from Ramiro as Norris had given it away. Makes the interception, but then Kaique gives it away, and now it's in behind for Avila at the top of the box. Avila from the tough angle, saved by Sirois. Make it 8 on the night. Another punt to no one in particular. That's been his one Achilles heel on the evening. So we're into the final minute of the 6 added on. Paulo Victor coming off the Querétaro left, can't find a teammate. Breaks kindly for Omachenko. Played once again out to the left side. It's going to be whipped in by Para. Out of the way by Bernie Kamungo. Have to check the total number of aerial duels won for Dallas across that back line tonight. Those have stacked up in this second half. Njonke from the right side now whips it in. Urguide got a piece of it, still inside the area. Victor back heel to the top of the box, shot by Para. It's going to spin out for a Querétaro throw. So we're in the final seconds now of stoppage time. And they'll try and launch this one into the box now. Victor instead checks it short. Villanueva, right-footed bending ball in, headed away from the top of the 6 by Nolan Norris. Helped further clear by Kaique. Back to the center circle. Villanueva playing it forward through the left center channel for Querétaro. It's back to him now. He's just going to whip it in off the left foot. Norris another header one. Imperious on the night. Into the final seconds, and that will do it. Dallas is back in the win column in their return to Leagues Cup play tonight at Mansfield Stadium. Second half goals from Santi Moreno and Joaquin Valiente, the difference, as the Dallas back line, backed by Jonathan Sirois, stands tall for a second successive clean sheet. Steve, this one felt like a must-win, not just in terms of advancing in Leagues Cup, but in terms of restoring the feeling for a team that was 3 without a win since the break, and in that respect, it's job done.
No, I think it's absolutely huge. I mean, I wouldn't say this thing was spiraling because, they did just get a road draw, but I really feel like, as you said, they needed this just to keep the spirits up. There's a lot of tough travel ahead. It's a tough time to be in Texas. It's hot. So I think this is going to go a long way to really restoring a little bit of team pluck.
We'll see you again on Saturday in San Jose. Chivas of Guadalajara awaits, but tonight it's 2-0 to the Hoops. FC Dallas defeats Querétaro and their return to Leagues Cup action. Thank you for joining us tonight. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
After 90-plus minutes at Mansfield Stadium, FC Dallas returns to the win column for the first time since the 2026 World Cup break as they beat Querétaro 2-0 in their Leagues Cup opener. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's victory, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But first, let's go ahead and get you tonight's post-game highlights. No goals in the first 45 for either side, so we were scoreless as the second half kicked off. But just 2 minutes into the second half, it was Santi Moreno opening the scoring.
Quickly ahead to Bernie Camungo, advanced up the left, now into the 18. Bernie Camungo, left-footed shot, rebound, breaks from Moreno, who scores. FC Dallas shot out of the cannon at halftime, score within 90 seconds, and they lead in Leagues Cup play.
Moreno's first in Leagues Cup play for FC Dallas made it 1-0 FCD in the 47th minute. And then in the 81st minute, it was an account opener for an FC Dallas player.
After the World Cup break, Valiente now spreads it out to Shaq Moore, advancing up the Dallas right side. Ball back into Valiente inside the area. Curling left-footed shot finds the back of the net. Joaquin Valiente to double the Dallas lead. A kiss off the inside of the post. And a moment to savor for Joaquin Valiente.
Valiente's first goal in FC Dallas colors made it 2-0 in the 81st minute, and that's all Dallas would need to ride this one to victory. Let's bring you your post-game stats. They're brought to you this evening by UMB Bank. Possession goes the way of Dallas, 55-45. 9 shots for Dallas, 7 of those on target. 21 total shots for Querétaro, 9 of those on target this evening. Dallas had 7 corners. Los Gallos Blanco had 6. 9 saves tonight for Jonathan Sirwal. That's back-to-back games for the Canadian with 9 saves. 5 tonight for Guillermo Allison. 16 fouls, 3 yellow cards for Dallas. 10 fouls, 3 yellow cards tonight for Querétaro. Now let's bring in the voices of tonight's victory. It's Ryan Figert. It's Steve Davis. And one of the storylines coming into this one, Ryan, was Dallas needed to win. It didn't matter if it was MLS play, Leagues Cup play, just any win they would take. And tonight, after a first half that they struggled just a little bit, they brought it home in the second half and got their first win since May.
Yeah, I think there was some interesting experimentation. Even though we saw most of the regular players in the first half, we saw a different front three. We saw pretty much everybody start in a slightly different position along the back line. Maybe Eric Quill doing some tinkering in a different competition. But as they locked into the normal shape and structure in the second half, we saw them hit another gear. And I think Santi Moreno was probably at his very best tonight in terms of what we've seen from him so far in Dallas colors. Getting Musa on, even though it was at the expense of the injured Anderson Julio, gave them that focal point. And even though he doesn't end up with a goal or an assist tonight, he started the play that led to both goals. He was instrumental in some of his hold-up work in that way. And, I think it was really good performances along the back line, another good goalkeeping performance, and one you can really build on going into a tougher test on Saturday.
Steve Davis, your thoughts on Dallas's first time winning since before the World Cup break?
It's interesting. You say shots 21-9 favoring the visitors, but that's a little misleading because what happened was FC Dallas really wasn't at their best for about 30 minutes. But I thought the last 15 minutes, probably the last 10 minutes of the first half, they took control of the game, had control of it until about the 85th minute, something like that, and then. But it's just Querétaro throwing everybody forward after that. Then you get a few more shots. So I do feel like there was a big chunk of the middle part of this game where Dallas was pretty good, and I do think a lot of it was about Petar Musa coming in because it really didn't look to me like Dallas had good ideas of how to structure their attack without Musa in there. And as soon as Musa comes in, he does provide the reference point. Everybody knows he can play into Musa. He can hold on to it for a second. Players reshape, get into the spots they want to be, and then somebody like Santi Moreno can be a little bit more effective. I thought Moreno was really good tonight. His best probably game overall in an FC Dallas shirt. The problem was that for the first 20 minutes, he was receiving the ball in midfield and just not able to connect forward. You bring Musa in, now Moreno can be – Musa's like a force multiplier there because now he makes Moreno better. Moreno can operate a little further up the field and has somebody to combine with. So, look, I'm not breaking any news here. Petar Musa – here's your headline. Shock. Petar Musa, very important for this team.
Yeah, and just some numbers that sort of illustrate that point. Not only was it, early and then late for Querétaro, it was a lot from distance as well. And when I was looking at FOTMA, which is the stat package I usually check during the game, they had 20 shots for Querétaro, 10 of those in the box, 10 of them outside of the box. They had Dallas with 12 shots, 10 of those in the box, 2 of them from outside the box. So when you look at quality chances, Dallas comes out, at least even if not ahead. They also had the effort that hits the crossbar for Herman Johansson in this game, and I think it's huge credit to the back line as well, just limiting chances. And really, I think there was only one header that Querétaro had that was sort of uncontested, and that was in the first half, a diving header for Ali Avila that maybe he could have done better with. Outside of that, I think the center backs just completely dominated in the air. Some numbers to back that up. They went 13 out of 17 aerial duels combined, and they had 19 headed clearances as well. And this is a stat where Dallas dominates in MLS play, and just further proof that these guys are terrific in defending the box, and particularly when teams are dumping crosses in. They're not afraid to put their head on it, to throw their body in the way. Whether it was Norris, Ibiaga, or Aguirre tonight, they were winning those aerial battles, and that meant that really Querétaro ran out of ideas later on in the game, particularly after that second goal.
Yeah, I think they didn't just run out of ideas. I think they ran out of legs a little bit as well. Eric Quill pointing out that they're only 3 games into their Liga MX season, and I think we saw that a little bit because after that, 35th minute, I really do feel like their level of energy dropped a little bit. They just weren't closing gaps in the midfield quite as quickly. And by the way, to your point on those really good work all along the back line, Nolan Norris, 10 headed clearances tonight, 3 or 4 winning his aerial duels.
Yeah, I think to me, I've got 3 players written down as your man of the match candidates.
I bet they're the same 3 as me.
Let's
find out.
I've got Santi Moreno written down.
Check.
I've got Nolan Norris written down.
Check.
And I've got Jonathan Serral written down.
Check.
So let's start. We've talked a little bit about Moreno already, but I want to kind of close the loop there because I think, Steve, you make a very important point about his game. Once Musa came in, it wasn't that he was doing bad things beforehand. He just really didn't have a way to kind of finish the puzzle, finish the story there. But then once he comes in, it wasn't that he deferred to Musa. He kept that level. I think that's very important up to the goal.
The thing is, Santi Moreno is so good about wanting the ball in tight spaces in midfield and being able to escape pressure, beating the first man. But once you beat the first man, you got to have somebody to play into. You can't just keep the ball and dribble until it's not pickup soccer. You can't just dribble until you lose the ball, right?
Nope.
So you have Petr Musa in there. You look up, the big man is there waiting to do the same thing, to receive the ball under pressure.
And it was a really cool goal he actually ends up scoring, right? It was a little bit acrobatic, if you will. And the one thing that I think Moreno has kind of been lacking in his Dallas tenure so far is just the goal scoring. We've seen his connectivity, his willingness to go. You could argue about his fitness level. I think that's a discussion for a different time. But if he starts banging in goals here from now until the end of November, when Dallas is hopefully playing in the playoffs, that's going to present Andre Zanata and company with a very interesting question when this offseason begins.
Yeah, I'm watching the replay for the first time right now, but it was a nice finish. Credit to Musa at the halfway line when you're talking about the build up to the goal. He was being fouled. He rode the tackle all the way in towards the attacking third and then freed up Bernard Kamungo, and we know what Bernard Kamungo did in Leagues Cup back in 2023. Maybe he's going to replicate some of that magic, but his shot is saved. And, nice little good footwork from Moreno and a good placement on the finish. I think, if we're going to look ahead towards that purchase option, I think he's got to do a lot more to me in the meantime between now and then to prove that. But tonight was a great first step. When you think about a DP and the way they should be impacting the game, that's what he showed us tonight.
Yeah, a guy like Santi Moreno, he wants to be a playmaker more than a goal scorer. But even a guy like that, it still feels really good to score.
Of course.
So, the game is about goals. And so even if you're just as happy to be the setup man and get an assist, that's got to do really good things for his confidence. And not that he's lacking for confidence. Again, I love that he is always willing to take a ball in traffic under pressure. He's usually able to get out of it and do something productive with it. But what we have seen, and I think Ryan was just alluding to it, as they have an important choice to make in the offseason, is the final product has still just missed a little bit. Sometimes the pass is a little underhit. Sometimes the angle is just a little bit off. And, when you're dealing with small margins on that final pass, even tonight, as good as he was, he's got 2 passes into the penalty area. And you do have to be, if you're going to be the team's main creative threat, you probably want to do a little bit better than that.
And I love, too, watching the highlights and then the celebration. Moreno sort of waltzes over towards the corner flag, and Musa was waiting there. He just sort of grabbed him and pointed to him and sort of saying something to the effect, I imagine, of that's you. That's what you can do, and that's what we need from you in this team. And those two showed a really good connection tonight. Thinking about back to the last player that wore the number 10 shirt, Lucho Acosta, I don't think they ever showed that level of connection. And there was a couple of moments, here and there, little flicks back and forth, but that is clearly the recipe for this team to go to the next level is, can Santi Moreno and Musa really connect, and can Santi Moreno be fit enough to start consistently and go deep into games like he was able to tonight.
Yeah, a really important point because we talked about it during the broadcast, Sam. For him to go 72 minutes and be effective, right up to the end of that, I think so important for this team going forward because so far, whether it's because he's carrying just a little bit of an injury that flares up or maybe he just hasn't had the fitness, but he has sort of diminished in effectiveness after about 45 minutes or so. So to watch him go 72 tonight and be effective in those minutes, really important for FC Dallas.
And to do it on a very hot night. I mean, we were probably in the mid to high 90s when we started. It's still probably pretty warm out there, despite the fact that it's almost 10 o'clock here in Texas. And the humidity was a little bit up too. So full credit to Santi really turning it up on a night they needed it. And I'm glad you brought up the celebration, Ryan. I was going to cover this later, but since we're here. Between the Santi celebration and then Joaquin Valiente, look how happy the team was when he scored his first goal, the one that ended up sealing the game. Which it's not just about the goal itself. You kind of love how together this team really is, and I want to give credit to the players themselves and the coach, because one of the things we heard when Eric Quill showed up is I got to build a culture. I've got to build a locker room of guys that really appreciate each other, that want to play for each other, that want to play for the Crest. And you see how just happy these guys are when they score, especially on a night like tonight when they needed a win. You just have a sense that the locker room chemistry, the brotherhood, if you will, of these players is going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think it was that sort of reaction because for Joaquin, this is his first goal for the club. It's his first goal since December 7th for his previous club. So it's been a minute, and I think, the team knows that, and he's a player that provides quality in the final third that not many in this roster can, but it just hasn't fallen for him to really have goal-scoring opportunities. He's usually the guy making the pass or the pass to score a goal. So for him to get that opportunity, and it's an opportunity that he makes himself with a nice turn in the middle of the field. He fires it out to Shaq Moore, and maybe 5 minutes before that, he had completely hit this exact pass. So he makes amends for that, fires it out to Shaq, who came on in this game, returned it to him with a nice slip pass into the area, and then, got the defender just off the mark and with a little hesitation, and really good finish for him. So, I think if you start getting goals from, sources outside of Musa and Farrington, then you can start really looking at this team as really dangerous going into the second part of the MLS season. They were very Musa and Farrington dependent in the first part, and that wasn't a problem necessarily because those guys were banging in goals. But if you can sort of respect some of those other options in the final third from the opposition standpoint, if they can respect those other options, that just leaves more space for guys like Musa and Farrington. So I like to see the attacking midfielders getting in on the goals tonight.
Yeah, 3 chances created by Valiente. That was a team high. As I'm watching the goal again there, a really important point that I think needs to be made is as he accepts the ball in center circle, passes the ball out to Shaq, it would have been really easy late in the match for Valiente just to sort of jog forward, support the attack sort of passively, or to just stop and say, I'll just stay here and watch for the counterattack. But he kept driving forward, and as he drives forward, it puts him in position to get the return ball. And again, that's half the field, that he's running right then. So to keep moving forward late in the match, put yourself in that position that shows a real determination, a real will. And, talking about your point, Sam, and I think it's a great one about the esprit de corps in this team. This is something that I think Oscar Pareja was just genius at. He really had that family feeling, and I think he really sort of helped create that culture, not just with the first team, but by doing things with barbecues and inviting more of the academy players over to participate in the first team activities, so that they would create a real vertical integration of the club up and down the chain, and making sure that everybody was just friendly to each other. I think that got lost a little bit. No disrespect at all to Lucci or Nico Estevez, but I think what happened is, as they come in, they're looking for their kind of player, which is understandable, perfectly reasonable. But I think when you start looking for certain players to fit your system, you got a change of in the technical staff in there as they're adding people. I think you lose a little bit of that. Right at the top of the food chain is that busca la forma. Find a way, and let's be a family, and let's find a way together. And I think Eric Quill is, sort of trying to sew that, stitch that back together. And I think you're right. I think he's doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you can sort of put it down to you're either looking for the exact right player for the system or for the position, or you're looking for the right person for the culture. And I think that is more where the club has leaned under Eric Quill so far in 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think there's going to be an FC Dallas Agenda episode about this in the future because I think it's a really important point about Eric Quill's tenure to date. And I think it bodes well not just for the current of the organization but the future. And speaking about things that bode well for the current and the future of FC Dallas, Ryan, I feel like we've reached the annual Nolan Norris segment on the postgame show because he just keeps demanding our attention tonight. He has another quality game. He has to move all over the pitch. He starts in the center. He moves to the left. But, I mean, he plays the full 90. He makes like one mistake in the first half and then cleans that up the rest of the way. When we finish the season, I think one of the biggest storylines, if not the biggest, might be the growth of Nolan Norris into what is becoming a starting, if not upper half, MLS center back.
Yeah, no, and I like that he's doing it in multiple spots. I like that he is combative. I think he's always had a little bit of this streak, but, late in the game, he's sort of completely dominates his man in a 1v1 duel, shielding it over the line. He sort of gets up and, yells towards him, kind of lets him know a little bit. And in the way that this game had gone, where Querétaro were piping up and getting in guys' face and causing these sort of altercations, I like that. I want to see you give it back a little bit and stand up. And Nolan Norris has certainly shown me that side of it as well, the personality side. And look, we're about to see a window for the U.S. men's national team in September, October. It's going to be probably a big roster, 4 games, younger players being integrated. I wouldn't be shocked to see his name on that list. And he's worked his way all the way through the youth national teams, and now he's finding this level of consistency at the MLS level. And now we know it's going to be Pochettino again, who's shown that he'll call guys from wherever you're playing. In Major League Soccer had plenty of representation in the World Cup. I think he's working his way into that conversation. I want to see more buzz around what he's doing in the Dallas back line. And, back-to-back clean sheets can help his case too.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to be one of those. It's cool to see the growth too. As all of us have been around the club for a while now, from 17-year-old homegrown who ran into Peter Musa and needed to bulk up a little bit, to put it mildly, to now he's getting that man muscle body and really growing into his role. It's just a really cool evolution. And Steve, you talk about the academy integration. I would argue right this minute here stateside, Nolan Norris is the beacon for the academy because he came up all the way through. He's representing his country. Now he's representing his club super well.
Yeah, the thing is with defenders, with the very best defenders, there is a combativeness to them. There's a toughness there, but it's a controlled combativeness. It's you have to you have to go into the battles, but you have to do it with an emotional maturity. And I feel like that's where he's really taken a step forward because, you like to reference when he said, my job is to go out there and kick people and help my team. Yeah, it is, but, you're not helping your team if you're only kicking people.
That's true.
You're not helping your team if you're picking up silly yellow cards, and he picked up a lot of yellow cards. So I really feel like he's maturing in that way. He's understanding how to retain that toughness, how to retain the feistiness, the combativeness, how to pick his spots, though. And I feel like that's where the growth is really coming. So, and, he's always had the passing ability. He made one pass late in the game that wasn't very good. But, you always feel like when the ball is at his feet, something okay is about to happen. He may not, he'll break a bunch of lines with it, but he's gonna be sensible with it.
I feel like, as a national team program, maybe we disrespected Tim Ream early in his career because he didn't have the physical attributes, but he was a left-footed center back that could pass out of the back. And it took him until his late 20s and into his late 30s to really break through into the national team picture. I just say we don't repeat that same mistake. If we have that type of, talented left-footed center back that can pass out of the back and has enough physically to stand up against good athletes, I think Nolan Norris fits that archetype. I don't know if he'll go on to be, a Premier League regular like Tim Ream was, but I think he can definitely – you can see that progression with him potentially happening.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem because, with Tim Ream, that was he was kind of on the front edge of understanding, everybody in the modern game understanding, hey, wait a minute, it's okay if you have a defender who can pass too. We used to talk about defenders. We'd kind of marvel like, oh, wow, look at him, how comfortable he is on the ball. Well, now it's like a requirement. Tim Ream, if you remember, it was Hans Baca that was at New York at the time. And if he hadn't been at New York, he would have even Tim Ream would, be selling life insurance here in Mansfield or something, because those kind of players just weren't valued then. But Baca did value that kind of player, and that's where Tim Ream's career sort of started taking off out of college. Now, though, I think that people look at somebody like Nolan Norris, they recognize, he can do the defending and he's comfortable passing out of the back. I just feel like actually it's the other way around. He can pass out of the back. And he can also do the defending, and that's just as important part of the game now for people as they scout players.
Yeah, if somebody wants to send this to Mauricio Pochettino, I don't have his email address over at U.S. Soccer.
There's also an Olympic team that he could participate in before we start talking about World Cups and stuff.
I'm just saying, send it over to U.S. Soccer. Somebody, if there's a general U.S. Soccer address for player ideas, send this podcast, and we'll take some. I think we'll split the residual 3 ways there as part. And Garrett can have some too. We'll go 4 ways for the Nolan Norris agenda. And the third player who probably deserves a lot of credit tonight is Jonathan Serrois, another 9-save night. And I know, Ryan, we talked about on the post-game show after the Galaxy game where he had 9 saves, that it felt a lot of those saves were kind of pedestrian, that he needed to make them. And even though he did keep a clean sheet, maybe they weren't the most high difficulty. And it feels a little similar tonight in some of those ways, although there was a couple of them that he had to really get down, especially late in the game. And I think we're seeing, once it's a coincidence, twice is a trend here, as our friend Steve Davis likes to say. We're seeing a trend of Serrois kind of growing into his game a little bit, stopping shots, and maybe we can see it a little bit more going forward.
Yeah, look, back-to-back, he set a new career high on Saturday, matches that tonight. And, yeah, I think the saves late in the game were really impressive. I think you were right in sort of assessing that some of those Galaxy saves are right at him or from distance or whatever. But he picks one up out of the top corner tonight against Homenchenko on a shot from distance, and then follows that up with a really nice close-range save where he closes down Avila, who scored 3 goals in 3 games for him so far in Liga MX, and he closes that down and erases that chance. The one time I think Osaze got beat all night was on that play, and Serrois was there to bail him out. So he showed some really good reactions and shot stopping. The one part of his game that is sort of just killing me is the goal kicks and the punts, and the distribution is just not up to standard right now. Unfortunately, his shot stopping has been fantastic and back-to-back clean sheets, and you can forgive some of the work with his feet, but man, too many goal kicks are landing out of bounds, not even, able to contest. And you've got targets. You've got Johansson, you've got Musa, guys you can aim at, and you just got to dial that part of his game in, and I think he could really lay claim to this number 1 spot.
What I liked best about him tonight, I felt like even in matches previously, even when he was getting the job done, to me, just whatever it was, he didn't look comfortable. He still had a little bit of, what we call with a quarterback, a little happy feet somehow. Tonight, I thought he looked very comfortable, and maybe he's just settling in here a little bit. Maybe, a couple of clean sheets does a body good, and he just felt better coming into tonight. I'm not sure what it was, but to me, he just looked more settled. The catches looked like it was a day of training, A couple of other times when he did make good saves, or he turned, just turned to routine play. Just it looked like to me a guy who now is feeling better about his place and things. And we talked a little bit about maybe was Michael Collodi. Should it have been Michael Collodi in goal tonight because you want the second guy to have a little bit of a run and maybe a cup competition, but maybe Eric Quill understood that he just needed another game to really cement his place in the team, and I think he's done it now.
Yeah, and the last thing that I'll say with Serrois is escaping me right now. I was about to say something about it. Can I remember it? No, I don't think I can.
It'll come back to you, buddy.
I'll give you a moment here before we go around to close out here, but I do want to give 3 quick notes. First off, congratulations to Clay Holstad. He makes his FC Dallas debut as a starter. He came in against the Galaxy, but he gets his first start tonight. Comes off at the start of the second half for Caik. Maybe not the best performance-wise, but it's still a great moment for a player to get his first start at this level, especially against the Liga MX team, which is very cool for him. Also, congratulations to Ramiro, who returns from injury. He was dealing with a foot issue in the back to play. Good to see him work his way back up to fitness. I think Dallas is going to need him, especially with just midfield depth in general. But the Capital being back is very cool. And finally, Anderson Julio, get well soon. He comes out in the 20th minute. Speedy recovery vibes to him, as the injury bug has just been so terrible to him. So hopefully it was less severe than we think, and he can be back soon.
I remembered what I was
Okay, go ahead.
Is that I like Sirois' decision-making in terms of when he comes for crosses. And he does it in a different way than Michael Collodi, who I think also has great decision-making and timing coming off his line to punch the ball. But Michael Collodi is absolutely on the aggressive, maybe even over-aggressive part of that scale. Sirois much more conservative, but when he comes, he tends to get it right. And tonight he understood that the back line in front of him was just going to eat up those balls in the air. He didn't need to come out and cause chaos and come off the line. He made some good catches in traffic, but he never really overextended himself, and I think he played within himself well tonight.
Yeah, the only other thing I think we should mention, Sam, is that this being the opener in the League's Cup, I think what this does, this really could have gone a different way. Because if you lose your first game, especially in this case, FC Dallas playing their only home, and I'm using home in air quotes, their only home match. If they don't win tonight, they're probably done as far as chances to advance in League's Cup. So that it really changes the framework for the next match, for the next two matches, really, when they have to go to the Bay Area to play against a good Chivas team, and they go an even harder match into Toluca. So what happens now is, okay, now they're sitting with 3 points. Now they've got a chance to at the very least to make the next two games relevant. And even if they were not to get any points out of the matchup up in San Jose against Chivas, there's still a chance that by going into Toluca, if you get 3 points there, that you could possibly advance. So it keeps really, no matter what happens, in my mind, it keeps both games relevant, unless they were to maybe go get blown out against Chivas. I don't think that's going to happen. So the whole point being that this win tonight, besides just everything it does for the team emotionally, it keeps the League's Cup really interesting.
Yeah, mission accomplished there.
Yeah, and already looking at the standings, it's just going to be tough. Right now, Dallas has won their game, +2 goal difference, and they're not in the top four. And not even everyone has played yet. Some of the games have just kicked off, and there's some more games tomorrow. I mean, this format is absolutely brutal. Yeah. Whoever makes it through should be absolutely commended for that, because no matter who it is, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's probably Project 8 points for FC Dallas here, and they achieved the first missive here. 3 points against a team that you need to beat in Querétaro. But the road doesn't get any easier as Dallas heads back out on the road again. They just can't wait to get back on the road again as they head to PayPal Park to play not the San Jose Earthquakes. No, we did that already. No, it's going to be Chivas de Guadalajara, not Chivas USA, for those who have been around for a minute. God, I wish it was Chivas USA. How much easier a match it would be. What a different conversation. Currently, Chivas de Guadalajara is playing right now on the left coast. They're playing LAFC, scoreless in the 27th minute. Not that that's going to matter when you listen to this, probably, unless you're listening live, and if you are, thank you. But it's going to be an 8 o'clock kick from PayPal Park. So pregame on the FC Dallas Radio Network with myself will start at 7:30, and then Ryan and Steve will get you ready for kickoff at 8 o'clock. Of course, on the Burncast on YouTube, on the FC Dallas app. You can catch our broadcast however you like it, and we'll get you all through Project 8 Point here. Hopefully, we'll be sitting here in about 3 days talking about another 3 points from FC Dallas against the Liga MX team. But that's going to do it for postgame tonight. FC Dallas wins 2-0 for the first time since May against Querétaro and picks up 3 points in the League Cup's group stage. For Ryan Figert, for Steve Davis, I have been Sam Hale. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
The preceding broadcast has been a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Want to hear something incredible?